Hello and welcome to Memorial Stadium. Jacob Barker here along with Jeff Murtaugh providing you this final broadcast of the football season for these Otterbein Cardinals. The Cardinals come into senior day at 5-4 on the season, visiting Ohio Northern Polar Bears 6-3, and I'm joined by Jeff Murtaugh. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good today, Jacob. Looks like we've got a beautiful day out there, hardly any clouds in the sky. It's going to be a little chilly, but, this time of year, that's to be expected.
Game time temperature right around 40 degrees or so, but coming into today, the Ohio Northern Polar Bears at 6-3, as we said, they're scoring an average of 30 points per game, but rather giving up 30 points per game as well. So, Jeff, really a similar attack to what we saw with Heidelberg. We're going to expect this team to, really throw the ball a lot. Pat Engel's really been kind of the heart and soul for this team. He's fourth in the OAC with 237.4 yards per game. So he's a guy that you have to watch out for.
Yeah, this Ohio Northern team, they're currently sitting a game behind Heidelberg. They're tied right now with Otterbein, actually, for fourth place in the OAC. And a lot of it has been because of their offense and, like you said, quarterback Pat Engel. So it's going to be putting a lot of pressure on that Otterbein secondary to keep up with these receivers and try and limit that passing attack.
Otterbein look to take advantage of this one, trying to steal momentum back and trying to gain some vengeance off last year's season-ending loss, where they lost 42-14 or 42-21 up in Ada last November on this exact day. Now it is senior day, of course, and of course, obviously, Jeff, we can't say enough about these seniors. 19 of them, and a lot of these guys that really stood out this season. Brick Davis, obviously. Not a whole lot more needs to be said. He's been really the heart and soul of this team, really kind of stepped in, had some injuries early on in his career here at Otterbein, but is really a guy that has anchored the attack for Otterbein, both on the field and off the field.
Yeah, and that's what's to be expected out of a starting quarterback here. And it's definitely going to be tough to replace him next year, as we've hardly seen any play from any of the backup quarterbacks. So Brick Davis is definitely going to be missed next year, that's for sure.
And taking a look at some of the other seniors that stand out, Zach Hamilton, the outside linebacker, leads the OAC in sacks with 7.5 sacks on the season. So he's really been kind of the leader of this team. And, really, when I look at those two guys, Brick Davis and Zach Hamilton, Brick Davis is kind of the anchor of the offense. Zach Hamilton's the same thing for the defense. He's always, making his voice heard. And, as Alana Gaither walks down the track here, I don't think you can say much about what she's been able to do. I think Jeff, when you take a look at what she's been able to do here at Otterbein, obviously breaking that gender barrier has been one thing, but it's not been just about that. For Tim Daup, it's been about being that accurate kicker that you can rely on, and Alana's been able to do that this year. She's only missed 3 extra points on the season and 4 field goals and 4 kicks in total, field goals and extra points. So really, accuracy is her ammo, and even though she wasn't able to pick up her distance, after she injured her ankle her freshman year here at Otterbein, has really kind of been that dependable kicker. Not a long distance, obviously. She hasn't been able to get that distance back, but she's a kicker that knows what it takes and obviously has the mentality to go out there on that field and be able to kind of first break that gender barrier, number one, but number two, she's able to, get it right on and just get it right down the middle. Distance is not her thing, and she knows it, but she has to be able, she knows that she needs to get the job done, and she does.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Jacob. Going back to Brick Davis, you're talking Brick Davis, the anchor of the offense, Zach Hamilton, the anchor of the defense, and Alana Gaither, your kicker on special teams. You're losing basically your 3 most important players on every aspect of the team. So it's definitely going to be hard to replace those guys next year. And, Otterbein, they've had a great season so far. They're 5-3. They're doing much better, or actually, they're 5-4, 5-3 in the OAC. They're having a much better season than they were predicted to do earlier before the season started, and they've been able to overcome those expectations. But it'll be interesting to see going forward into next year, after losing 19 seniors and such important players as well, how they're going to be able to recover moving ahead.
Yeah, some of the other key seniors on this team, Cole Benner has really stepped up this season. Last year, he was one of 4 quarterbacks that made an appearance in that Ohio Northern game last year. So obviously, we don't want to have that happen again. But Cole Benner has been very versatile for this Otterbein attack, and the the senior wide receiver out of Heath, Ohio, and Heath High School, has really stepped it up this season for the Cardinals. A couple other guys of note. You have Tyler Hammond, a guy who really battled injuries a lot early on. Came in from after transferring from Ohio Dominican, the native of Pickerington. Jeff, he's really kind of shown his capabilities and his versatility. Never saw a whole lot of playing time last year due to those injuries, but is a guy that, despite his size, is a guy that you're going to miss because of his speed and his ability to get around the opposition.
Yeah, like you've said, Jacob, this defense is actually leading the OAC in sacks, which is a little surprising to me. But when you've got the #1 leader in sacks in the OAC, Zach Hamilton, I guess it's not so much of a surprise. But that defense has been a huge part in what's keeping them in these games and how they've been able to be so successful this year when they were picked to finish very low in the conference.
Yeah, some of the other guys that we as we roll down this roster, some who never really saw a whole lot of playing time, but guys like Chuck Thacker out of Whitehall, Yearling High School, so he's really been able to fill in. When Tyler Green had that injury early on, Thacker was kind of the guy that you could depend on. Ryan Toombs, who's been he's been flip-flopped around a lot, played quarterback last year, was the third string in fact. Coach Stout moved him up to wide receiver, was impressed with what he saw. Mike Greenwell, who's out with an injury right now, was unable to play the last 5 games of the season, but a guy that really kind of stands out. And, we talk about a lot of the players, but he doesn't get a whole lot of attention, because based off the fact that what he does off the field, Mike Greenwell's he's an RA. He's he makes himself known on this campus. He's one of the leaders in athletes in action. So definitely a guy that really is a role model off the field for everybody.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be sad to see him go, especially with his season and career ending in injury and not being able to finish out his last few games here. It's definitely sad because he's known by most people around campus as a real friendly guy, a guy you can go to, talk to if you have any problems or anything, and he's just such a great guy on and off the field. So it's definitely sad to see him go, and especially in the manner of which his career has ended here at Otterbein.
Going back to the opposition today, as we said, the Polar Bears 6-3 on the season, and they're coming into today, coming off a victory on their senior day with a 50-15 victory at Dial Roberson Stadium over the visiting Wilmington Quakers. The Polar Bears won their 4th consecutive game and clinched an upper division finish for Ohio Northern in the 10-team Ohio Athletic Conference for the 18th time in the last 19 seasons. And Jeff, looking at this Ohio Northern team, hasn't been to the playoffs the past few years, but this was the same team back in 2005 that last defeated the Mount Union Purple Raiders, and now John Carroll's going to have a chance to do that today. But this team is always kind of feared in a sense because of what they're able to bring in. You look at a lot of out-of-staters from this team. You looked at last year when they had brought Justin Wanger in, who was one of their running backs, and a team that really kind of recruits from outside in, a team that is always viewed as a possible threat around the OAC and is always a possible playoff contender year in and year out.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't been there, Jacob. They haven't been to the playoffs for a few years now, that's for sure, but they've always been competitive in the conference. They're always one of the top 4 teams hanging around the top, and this year's no difference. They're currently sitting there at 4, and you can definitely not sleep on this team, as earlier this season they played John Carroll up at John Carroll, and they lost that game 17-10, and it took a touchdown with about 2 minutes left for John Carroll to get past the Polar Bears. So this team is definitely very dangerous.
Yeah, so now, looking at today's matchup, what is going to be the key for Otterbein to really pull away in this one? We said this is a similar attack to what Heidelberg likes to bring, not as much of a hurry-up offense, but a team that loves to throw the football.
Yeah, this team, they have a lot of offensive weapons, much like Heidelberg. And they like to score. They like to go out and move up and down the field quickly. But, Otterbein, we all forget maybe a little bit, after Otterbein lost that game 45-28, Otterbein was actually winning that game by 2 touchdowns at multiple points, and they were actually up 28-21 going into the 4th quarter. And they had success in that game early by pounding the ball on the ground, especially with Drew Irvin. I believe he had 3 rushing touchdowns in that game. Mm-hmm. So they need to get him involved early and get that running game going to kind of slow the game down a little bit and force this offense to stay off the field and force them to be more selective with their plays.
Leading the way in rushing for the Polar Bears, however, number 4, Justin Magazine, the junior, has been able to really put on a show for this Ohio Northern team at 791 yards on the season. as he has been able to lead the way there. Pat Angle sits right behind him with 321, so he's a guy that is not afraid to carry that ball. Devin Price, the leader in receptions on this team, he's got 61 for 792 yards. Following him is Reed Allen, number 6. He's got 445 on the season. And then you got Chad Bridges with 224 there, and that makes, looking at this Ohio Northern receiving corps, that's 6 guys with at least 100 receiving yards, Jeff. So it's that style of offense that really is going to get them going and really try to push the pace up a little bit.
Yeah, that's right, Jacob. They've got 5 guys on the receiving corps that all have over 150 yards receiving, and they've got 5 guys who've rushed the ball for over 100 yards this year. So they definitely have a ton of weapons to be able to move the ball down the field quickly. And when you have a quarterback like Patrick Angle, who's able to run and scramble for 462 yards and 6 touchdowns on the season, they're definitely it's going to be hard to control him because he's such a good passer. And then if he gets in trouble, he can use his feet to get downfield and pick up yards when there aren't any receivers open. So he's definitely going to be a key focal point for this Otterbein defense today.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think for this Otterbein defense, it's a defense that's really stepped up after last season. Will Brett, a handful of guys that have stepped up. Austin Jones being one of those as well. We talked about Zach Hamilton earlier, but looking at this defense, you're really not losing a whole lot. You're returning a lot of players. This is a game where we're going to see a lot of guys try to prove themselves for next season. I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe see Kevin Green thrown in there a little bit if Otterbein gets hopefully gets up early, and maybe we see him thrown in a bit. But as you said, this running back core, Jeff, you talked about the running game, and you're not only led by Drew Irvin, but you have guys like Tyler Hamden. John Piles is a guy that really has stepped it up ever since the injury to Reed Hutchinson. After Hutchinson went down against Muskingum, in fact, before that actually. He had 3 games in a row where he got a touchdown in each of them. He was a guy he's kind of a guy that's kind of flown under the radar up until now.
Yeah, the running backs for Otterbein are definitely going to play a big part in this game, as I mentioned earlier. They, especially with a cold day, they're going to want to keep the ball on the ground as much as possible, try and pick up positive yards. And when you've got a stable of running backs, such as Otterbein does, who've all been fairly successful moving the ball on the ground, you want to stick with them. And John Piles has really picked it up ever since that injury to Reed Hutchinson. He's really picked up his play. He's been getting good yardage on the ground, and he's been scoring at a pretty consistent rate. So he's definitely going to play a big role today for the Cardinals.
Now, taking a look at this Otterbein senior corps here, Jeff, as we said earlier, 19 seniors on the team. It's hard to really pick one guy that really stands out. But, what are the couple guys that really kind of have made the season the kind of season it is? We said Otterbein was picked to finish 6th in the OAC. Tim Daup was saying early on in camp, to motivate these guys, you guys have no respect. You guys are ranked 6th in the OAC. And I remember him saying, he made the guys run sprints, saying, we're going to run 6 sprints because you guys are ranked 6th in the OAC. You're going to prove yourselves. And, with the exception of a couple tough losses, I think this is a team that, led by these seniors, has really been the driving force. What are the couple guys that really make themselves known and really kind of have made this team and serve the identity for this team?
Well, I think you got to look at first Zach Hamilton definitely on defense. Mm-hmm. When you got a guy who's leading first of all, Otterbein's defense is number 1 in sacks in the OAC, and then so you look further past that, you look at the guy who's leading the number 1 sack team in sacks, and that's Zach Hamilton with 7.5. So any guy who can impact the game as much as he can with that many sacks, rushing the quarterback, hurrying the quarterback, getting the offense off balance, he's definitely going to be a guy that you look at who's had the biggest impact for this Otterbein team.
Yeah, I'd completely agree. And, with the way he carries himself on and off the field, he's a leader. He's the president of Zeta Phi fraternity, so obviously he's showing a lot of leadership there. And I think he really, I remember meeting him. I remember meeting him for the first time, and he knew my name right away. He said, "Hey, how's it going, Barker?" And I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking, how's this guy know my name? But he has that, he remembers who you are. And he's always, being obviously for us up here in the booth, certainly a guy who's taken note of that, but really kind of carries himself well on and off the field, treats everybody the same way. But Rick Davis, I will say the same thing about him. He's a guy that, again, flew under the radar until this year. We saw him in flashes last year, but injuries again kept him out of the lineup. And talking with him earlier in the season, his goal has always been his goal is always to be able to be vocal as he can. And I think for a guy that's been out as much as he has with injuries, he's finally taken that chance. If you're him, I'm sure he would like to take another year here at Otterbein. So definitely, definitely a guy that really is going to be missed both on the field and in the locker room for this team.
Yeah, and those are definitely the kind of guys that Coach Dapp is looking for to help lead this team. You always want guys who are great on the field, but when they're great off the field, it's even better. You get a guy who's helping out in the community, helping out the other students, helping out the other players, and that's the kind of guy that we want representing this team. And he's done a great job playing on the field and representing the team off the field.
Yeah, you talk about Tim Daup, talking about Ohio Northern's head coach, Dean Paul. Paul in his 11th season at Ohio Northern, 74 and 37. He is 1-14, 49 and 15 seasons overall, and is 7-3 against Otterbein. And again, he was that same head coach that defeated the Mount Union Purple Raiders. Jeff, I know we're not going to be able to get a chance to be at that game tonight, but I'm sure if it was a night game or if this was a night game, that was a day game, we would certainly take our chances and be there if we could.
Yeah, that's definitely the game of the day in the OAC today, the one everyone marked on their schedule at the beginning of the year as the big showdown, as they're both 9-0, both undefeated, Mount Union and John Carroll. It's going to be a good game, and we'll see if for the first time since 2005 an OAC conference team is able to beat Mount Union during the season.
Well, that wraps it up for now. We're going to take a quick break here on Otterbein TV, but coming up next, Jeff's going to have our final analysis and kickoff here from Memorial Stadium. Keep it locked here on OTV.
Thank you for joining us here at Memorial Stadium today for today's football game between Otterbein and Ohio Northern. We're going to pause briefly for the playing of the national anthem here. That was your Otterbein Cardinals marching band. And in honor of Senior Day here, we will also pause for the playing of the Cardinal Love Song. Band playing the Otterbein Love Song and the National Anthem. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm Jeff Murtaugh, and we will have momentarily the game today between the Otterbein Cardinals and the Ohio Northern Polar Bears, as the seniors, all 19 of them who are graduating this year, and will be playing their final game here at Otterbein Memorial Stadium. They will be heading out for the coin toss as honorary captains today, and I think that's definitely a fitting gesture.
Yeah, Jeff, I think, so just come back from the announcer's booth, definitely a sign of, leadership for this Otterbein team. All these guys, have really put in a lot of work, and we didn't mention during the pregame, but these guys aren't here to go pro or anything. They're not here to, be NFL prospects, none of that. These guys are here to, get their degree and get the job, doing what they love. And, a lot of these guys, we see that go into coaching right after. Zach Greaves and Pat Seaschultz, a couple guys to mention, who have graduated from Otterbein, have returned. Aaron Kincaid, also one of those. So, really a group of guys, really a group of gentlemen that, really are able to lead this team and, really kind of, help, certainly, anchor this, and be a big example for this university in general.
Yeah, these guys, no one out here on this field today, I don't believe, will be making any any trips to the NFL. But all these guys out here, and Alana, they, of course, I don't mean to single her out, but they're all playing for fun, you know, and they're trying to, they're living their lives. They're going out there, they're continuing their childhood dreams of playing football, and for most of them,
Looks like
for these 19, it'll be their last chance to play this game in a competitive setting.
Yeah, it certainly will. You know, as we look at the team, you know, not a whole lot of guys that are going to be, you know, as nobody right now that, as we know of, is going to be returning for their 5th year. Thomas Linder, obviously, is returning for his 5th because he did not play his sophomore year, so he is an exception to that. The Cardinals take the field, but yeah, Jeff, it's going to be an emotional day today for a lot of these players. A lot of guys, you know, you go to class with these players, and you know that you see the example that they really set for themselves, you know, how they really have defied a lot of the odds in the OAC this year. I think that if there's one game, obviously, you want to have back at St. John Fisher or Heidelberg or both of them. I know you and I had a chance to call that one, but let's see, you know, what happens today and what they're going to be able to go out there with.
Yeah, they've taken the field now. They're definitely going to be fired up for this one. You've got a chance to go over 500 once again. For, I believe, the 5th time in 7 years that would be. And one of those times that they didn't, they were at 500. That was last year. They went 5-5.
500 last year, and then 3-7 during Joe Loth's last year here at Otterbein. But, yeah, Tim, I think we didn't get enough chance to talk about Tim Daup. He's a guy that I think you really have to thank all this success for here at Otterbein. He's really kind of led this identity change on this football team, a team that beforehand was a really high-risk offense. Tried to move the ball a little quick, turned the ball over quite a bit, and we haven't seen that nearly as much. I think in the past 3 years, we've seen this team turn the ball over as much as we did in the 2011 season itself.
Yeah, Coach Daup has definitely instilled a more patient offense, and he's really solidified that defense as they've been playing much better these past few years. As now it looks like Otterbein will kick off to start the game. They'll be kicking off with the wind from right to left towards the Ohio Northern Polar Bears. And the Polar Bears have 3 players at the 15-yard line to receive this kick. Now they're going to drop one back all the way near the goal line.
Looks like Anthony Ween to kick it off.
Anthony Ween will be set to kick off. He runs up and gets into it. And it will be fielded at the 1-yard line, and it's going to be taken right up towards the middle of the field. Now there's going to be a cut back to the left, cut back out towards the middle, and the return man, Devin Price, is taken down just short of the Ohio Northern 35-yard line.
Well, John Vincent was the guy, number 88, that tried to hunt him down, but there was a heck of a block that was thrown there right around the 20-yard line and opened up that spot. So Ohio Northern starting in decent field position.
Yeah, they're going to start this drive at their own 32, 33 and a half, approximately the 33-yard line, as quarterback Pat Engel comes out in the gun. He's going to send his running back Magazine to his left. He's going to take the snap, fake the handoff, and there's a flag already. And it looks like it's going to be a false start against the Polar Bears. So not the way they wanted to start the game, but that's good news for Otterbein.
Now that's something we see out of a lot of these Otterbein defensive linemen. Evan Bergenstein, one of those guys that has a lot of that experience. And Tyler Green, 2 seniors on this team that, you know, really are good at doing a job faking out the offensive line and forcing them to jump. Defensive line can move as long as they don't cross that neutral zone line. That time Ohio Northern jumped.
Yeah, now Engel, he's in the gun again, fakes the handoff to Magazine, throws it over the middle, and it is in and out of the hands of his intended receiver near the 40-yard line. I believe that was number 3, Devin Price, who could not come up with the catch that time.
Jordan Shell was the one providing the coverage, and I think Shell got there just in time. If he gets there a second later, Devin Price has got that catch and maybe a first down.
Yeah, and now it looks like there's an Otterbein Cardinal defensive player down.
And that is Jordan Shell, I believe.
It's number 28, and that will be Jordan Shell. So not the way you want to see this team start. We've had a rough go so far. First play, you have a false start. Now the second play, you've got a drop pass and an injury to an Otterbein defensive player, Jordan Shell. So definitely
Injuries have been a bit of a problem for Coach Daup to deal with this season, especially early on in the preseason. We had a couple guys that sat out with concussions, Tyler Green being one of those. But, Jordan Shell, again, providing that excellent coverage. Devin Price, we talked about him in the pregame, 791 yards receiving. That is a guy that you have to watch out for with his speed and his versatility. You do not want to leave him open. I think Shell got there just in time to, really just get his hands really get his hands right in front of him and wrap him around.
Yeah, and that would have been about a 12-yard pickup on first down and 15. So now it's going to be 2nd and 15 from the Ohio Northern 28-yard line.
And it looks like we got Jordan Keaton. Keaton's the one that's actually taking his Shell spot right now.
As Angle comes out, he sends Magazine to his right. Now he's going to send his receiver in motion, fakes the handoff to both of them, and then gives it off to his running back. That's Magazine. He's straight up the middle, and he's all the way out to midfield for a Polar Bear first down.
Good job by Justin Magazine to find that hole on the left side of the offensive line. We saw a couple offensive linemen create that hole. No coverage was there for Otterbein. Sent one of the guys on the blitz, and that opens up that spot.
Yes. Angle is going to come out in the gun. He's got no one in the backfield. He's got a tight end behind the line to his right side. Now he's going to send his receiver in motion. He's going to fake the handoff to him. He's looking deep. Now he's just going to check down to his motion receiver. And he's got the completion. Now it's going to be raced out to about the Otterbein 43-yard line. And that was, once again, number 3, Devin Price with the reception.
One thing we noticed about that play, Jeff, was, Devin Price having to make that little move, but Angle had no other choice other than to throw it on that near side because every other receiver, and this is where you have to credit Otterbein secondary for covering everybody up and not allowing that long ball.
Yeah, he wanted to go deep. He was looking. He was doing everything he could to look for that deep ball, but he decided that it wasn't worth it, and he would just check it down for, turned out to be a 7-yard gain. As he's back in the gun angle, he's got Magazine directly behind him. It's a high snap, but he brings it down. He's looking to pass after a faked handoff, and he is dropped way back behind midfield, actually near the Polar Bear 45-yard line. And that was 47 on the sack for Otterbein.
That was Zach Hamilton, and who else? The OAC, he just added to his total with 8.5 sacks on the season, and that's the last guy, if you're Ohio Northern, that you want to have uncovered. The speed of Hamilton and the determination was able to blast right through the offensive line, and Angle had no other choice but to just hold on to it.
Yeah, he faked the handoff and thought he was going to have some time, but Hamilton got there almost immediately and brought him down for a big loss, because it's now going to be about 3rd and 15 for the Polar Bears. As Angle comes out of the gun, and he hands it off to Magazine once again. Magazine breaks a tackle, and he breaks through across midfield, and he's down near the Otterbein 45 at the 46-yard line, but it will bring up a 4th down and about 5.
Good resiliency and good job by the Otterbein defense. They'll really hold their ground. They gave Devin Price and Justin Magazine a couple open holes on that drive, but ultimately, that it all kind of ended with the sack of Pat Angle by Zach Hamilton, who was able to get in the backfield and really kind of force this 3-and-out situation.
That was a good showing on defense there, definitely for the Cardinals, as the punt will be away, and it's going to be fair caught at the 12-yard line by Cole Benner.
Cole Benner, the kick guy who's really, as we said, Jeff, versatile on this Otterbein team. He's played defense a handful of times. He also is one of the key receivers for Brick Davis. As we got to watch for Travis Laird here. Travis Laird, also one of the other seniors, the team leader in receptions. Laird is a guy that we're going to have to, look for. Hasn't seen the score, hasn't seen the end zone much, but it really has been that spark for Otterbein in the receiving corps this year with 244 yards.
And now Brick Davis is going to come out of the gun. He takes it. He throws a screen out in the flat to the right for his receiver, and he's dropped immediately. That was Travis Laird on the wide receiver screen, but he's taken down immediately at the line of scrimmage.
Just a little bit of a score update here for you as well, as up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Ohio State Buckeyes on top of another top 25 team, the surprising Minnesota Golden Gophers, 17-14 at the half. That is going to be one that we'll have to watch out for.
Yeah, Otterbein added a short field goal His time expired to end that one to take
Ohio,
the lead in
Otterbein.
halftime.
Otterbeins playing Minnesota.
Excuse me, Ohio State. As now Brick Davis takes the pass, throws it quickly over the middle to his tight end, Bryson Ray, who's going to fight his way out to the 25-yard line, and that's good enough for an Otterbein first down.
Good read there by Brick Davis out in the flats. He saw Bryson Ray breaking through. Ray, the native of Powell, Ohio, only a sophomore, already making a name for himself here at Otterbein.
And Brick Davis moves quickly. He's going to throw one out in the flat again. He's got his receiver. And breaking down the sideline now is number 15. That's Ryan Toombs. He breaks one tackle, and he's all the way out to the Ohio Northern 40-yard line.
Well, there was beyond taking a look at Ohio Northern's defensive scheme there, beyond beyond the corner and safety for Ohio Northern. There was no coverage whatsoever. But however, we do have a penalty flag, and I believe due to that open space, we might have a hold coming here for Otterbein.
Yeah, they tried to run that little quick screen out in the flat once again, and I believe Toombs was able to break through there because there was a hold from one of the receivers on that outside. And that's exactly what the call is going to be.
And it's going to be on Bryson Ray, and I think he knows what happened there. That hold, and that kind of explains it. Ray was lined up on the far side, got a little extra piece, and it opened up the hole for Toombs, but it's a legal block, and Otterbein's going to have to take it from the spot of the foul.
As it will be a 1st and 15 back near the 20-yard line. As Brick Davis comes out in the gun, he's going to send his back over to the left. That's Piles. Piles makes the reception, and he breaks through now as he gets through a few defenders, and he's all the way out to the 29-yard line. And there's I
think somebody wants a late flag thrown, and I think Bryson Ray's complaining that he was hit late in the secondary.
Yeah, the entire Otterbein sideline that time.
That was Dan Eller, the one of the free safeties for this Polar Bear team, got a little extra piece, and I want it. Wow.
Yeah, but
talk about a missed call there.
It's a 10-yard pickup for Piles. And Davis will take the snap. He throws it out once again in the flat. And his receiver is going to fight forward for a few yards. And that was Logan Stepp on a gain of about 2 that time. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and short.
This is going to be an interesting situation. We haven't seen Otterbein hand it off at all this afternoon yet on this drive. But it's going to be a trick, I think, taking for Tim Daup as Brick Davis. Now we're going to see him with an empty backfield. So an interesting situation here with 5 receivers.
He's got the empty backfield here out of the gun. He might just send everyone deep and then try and run for this first down himself. We'll see. He takes the snap, and now he's pressured. He's trying to escape. He actually is able to get the ball away, and just out of the hands of Logan Stepp.
Pocket collapse there for the offensive line as nobody was able to hold their guard there. Davis had no other choice. We were thinking he was going to go for the sack, but he found that open space just to get it away. And now Jordan Keaton out to punt for Otterbein.
Yeah, it was a pretty good job by Brick Davis. He had defenders all over him, and he was able to float that one up, and it just was a little bit too far for Logan Stepp. As Keaton is now ready to punt this one away on 4th and 4 from. He's back near his own 15. It's going to be a fake. He's going to try and beat the defender out to the sideline. One man to beat. He beats him, and he's able to sneak his way out of bounds with just enough for a first down out near the 40-yard line.
Oh, my. Jordan Keaton absolutely just catching everybody off guard. I don't think most of the Otterbein players knew what was going on, but I was wondering because he was about 10 yards back instead of 15. He just took the snap, and I'm like, kid, get it away. Get the ball deep. You're going to get it blocked. And instead, he just decided to take off for it. So I don't know if that was intentional or not. But an interesting play call there by Tim Daup, and it obviously pays off as Otterbein's offense is back out on the field.
Yeah, he was able to he had one man to beat, and he was just able to get around him and get to the edge. As now Brick Davis and the offense are back on the field. Davis takes it, hands it off right up the middle to Piles, and he's met after a gain of about a yard right at the 40-yard line. It will be a 2nd and 9 now for the Cardinals. Players checking their play cards on their wristbands. Make sure they get everything straight. As Davis comes out in the gun. He's got 2 receivers to the top, 2 receivers to the bottom. He's got Piles to his right in the backfield. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Piles. Looking to pass. throws it over near the right sideline, or the far sideline, excuse me, and that one is going to fall incomplete off the hands of Cole Benner. And that will bring up another 3rd down and long here for the Cardinals.
And for Otterbein, the offensive line has to hold those blocks this time. They can't afford to let the pocket collapse and really let the pressure get to Brick Davis. Davis can run. We've seen him take off before, but it has to be instinctive, and he has to have some time to think there.
Yeah, as they're going to go empty backfield once again. He's got 3 receivers near side, 2 receivers far side to the top of the screen. He surveys the defense, calls out his cadence, and now he's going to take the shotgun snap. They're going to blitz him. He's going to throw it deep over the middle, and it is over the hands of Cole Benner, and he is leveled. And the Otterbein sideline again wants a flag, but they're not going to get it as Benner is still down on the field. But I think he just got hit right in the chest and probably just got the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah, it looks like that was the case there. Is taking a look at what the kind of pressure that they were able to bring. Will Bowden was the guy that came in on the play, and along with the double team on that play was Dan Eller as well. So Eller and Bowden doing a good job trying to force Brick Davis to throw it ahead and kind of sandwich Cole Benner in there. And as a result, it took a hard hit. Appeared to just get the wind knocked out of him. So hopefully none the worse for wear. Should be able to get back up onto his feet.
And there was no illegal hit there. It was the ball had gotten past him.
Yeah, and I think that's where the pass interference comes in. A pass interference is when the receiver is hit after he crosses that 5-yard that 5-yard territory, and he obviously that was not the case here as he's up and back on his feet.
And he was not targeted. He was not hit up in the helmet. He got hit square in the chest there. So there would not be a penalty thrown for that either.
We're scoreless here from Memorial Stadium. We're also scoreless from Alliance, Ohio, as the Purple Raiders and the Blue Streaks are deadlocked at goose eggs with 9:18 left in the first quarter.
And, Jacob, I wouldn't be surprised if that game turned out to be a low-scoring game, as both those teams are used to scoring bunches of points, but they've never played a team with such good defense as they're going to be seeing today. As Keaton will now be back to punt, and I don't believe he's going to fake this time, as he's a good 15 yards back behind the line. He takes the long snap and boots it away. It's a good one, as the receiver is going to chase it all the way back, and he's going to let it go into the end zone, and just a little bit too far for Keaton. But the return man that time, Melvin Williams, came really close to touching that ball right around the 2-yard line and then thought better of it.
I thought what he was trying to do was kind of shade off the Otterbein defender, the oncoming Otterbein defenders trying to pursue the ball. Obviously, it worked because if he's not in the way of that thing, then that ball's deep at the 1-yard line. But for the Polar Bears, thank goodness for them, they're going to start at the 20, versus obviously starting it at the 2. That would have been a favorable situation for Otterbein because with this spread offense that Ohio Northern likes to run with Pat Angle, Angle likes that open space, and that would obviously restrict that. So Otterbein just trying to do what they can to shorten the field.
As Angle moves Magazine to his left, he takes the snap, hands it off to Magazine right up the middle, runs into a defender, and is dragged down at the 25-yard line after a gain of 5.
He ran right into Tyler Green as Green was just trying to plug up that hole, being double teamed, and that's one thing that he works on a lot as a defensive lineman. Guy that's obviously not known for his speed, but is able to plug up those holes and really open up that spot for guys like Kyle Blust and Zach Hamilton.
And he did a good job that time, as originally Magazine had nowhere to go, but he bounced off the pile and was able to spin out for a gain of 5. As now Angle, once again in the gun, is their normal offense. He's got 2 receivers to the top, 2 receivers to the bottom, sends Magazine to his left. There's a blitz coming from Hamilton, but he's offsides.
I don't know what they're going to call here, if it's going to be offsides because he did not make any contact, or if Ohio Northern moved whatsoever.
And it's interesting because one player...
And the officials are pointing toward Otterbein.
That's a little surprising. Yes, he was offsides, but usually in that situation they let the play go on and then let the play happen, and then if they get the play, they keep the play, or if they take the penalty, they take the penalty. So it's a little surprising that
the rule there is if a player enters that what they call the neutral zone, and if the offensive line does move as well, then it's a false start for the offense. But if the offense holds their ground and stays still, the guy moves across in that neutral zone, then it's an offside.
And that was the call. Engel's going to take the snap, fakes the handoff, avoids the pressure, runs up in the pocket, and he's dragged down at the 32-yard line after a 2-yard gain.
That was a good job there by the Otterbein defensive line, and Kyle Blust, a guy that really continues to make his presence known. Guy that's only a sophomore, coming in. In fact, actually a freshman, I believe. So the true freshman, really holding his ground here, playing like a senior. It's kind of hard to mistake. Take a look at him, Jeff, for that. Based on the way he plays the game.
Yeah, his Engel, once again, he motions Magazine. Now he's going to motion his receiver. Hands it off to Magazine, coming right. He breaks a tackle. He's got the edge, and he is driven out of bounds right at midfield.
There was an entire wall of blockers there on the near side, and Magazine was able to find that open spot. Otterbein's defensive line and linebacking core unable to catch that one. And if you're Jordan Shell, you got to make sure you have that area covered because that's your side of the field. You can't let anybody try and make too much contact with you there. You got to stay home, and you have to stay in position.
And I've been a little surprised so far that they haven't just tried to keep the ball on the ground, because Otterbein has had trouble trying to stop this run so far. As now there's going to be 2 receivers to the top of the screen, none to the bottom of the screen.
You got Zach Hamilton on the blitz here.
And he's going to fake the handoff to Magazine. He's got time, and now he's going to be pressured. And there's the flag for holding as Engel goes out, and he is driven out of bounds. And they're going to throw a flag for that.
I think they're going to call Zach Hamilton for a late hit, but I think he was trying to catch him just near the sideline and knock him out of bounds. Going back on the play though, on the other, the first flag was thrown on the offensive lineman Joe Winters, and so we know he's going to be the guilty one there, as he was trying to grab a hold of trying to grab a hold of Kyle Blue's jersey there. So that's an obvious penalty on Ohio Northern's part. We really didn't get a good look at Zach Hamilton's personal foul.
Wow, so they're going to enforce both penalties. They're going to back him up 10 yards and then move him forward 5 yards. And it's going to be an automatic first down.
Well, it was already a first down as it was, but it's going to be a first down and 5 now instead of a first down and 10.
And I don't agree with that late hit.
I think taking a look at it on the near side, we didn't really get a good look at it because of the wall of Otterbein players that's standing in front of us on the sideline. But I think the officials caught something, that might have taken a few extra steps out of bounds already. Obviously, we know it wasn't intentional. Thank goodness for Zach Hamilton.
As Engel takes the snap, he throws it quickly out to the flat, where it is taken right at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, correction. They did make that a first down and 10. It was just going to be from the 45 instead of the 50.
As that was a pickup of 5 there on first down, as Otterbein was blitzing again, and Engel had to get rid of it quickly. Is there now? The Polar Bears back up, ready to snap the ball. 3 receivers near side, 1 receiver to the top of the screen. He's got his back Magazine behind him in the backfield, motions him over to his right, takes the snap, hands it to Magazine, who is met immediately and then pulls his way forward for about a yard before he's driven down.
That was a good job by the interior defensive line of Otterbein to really hold their ground. That was Dustin Lieber, the junior out of Norwalk, Ohio, that was creeping in on the play.
And it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 4.
It's going to be an interesting situation here as we see Tyler Green come back in, trying to form that 4-man defensive line as they're going to go in that as Otterbein's going to go in that back to that 4-4 or 4-3 right now. The extra defensive back, actually.
Yeah, as now they've got an empty backfield for Engel. He's going to send his receiver in motion, fake the handoff to him, and keep it himself. He's going to run it right up the middle. He breaks a tackle and gets all the way out to the 30-yard line for a first down.
Now we got another late hit that was thrown here, and right now Tim Daup is all the way out to the field. That was one of the offensive linemen that just gave it a little extra kick to Otterbein, and right now you don't want to let this game get out of hand. And I think if you're Otterbein, Jeff, you have to keep your composure even if they don't throw flags right now, because eventually I think that's going to catch up to them. Yep. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that unfolds here. That's going to be a first down, though. We talked about Pat Engle's running ability, and Dustin Lieber was the one coming up on the play to try and blitz.
And it was Austin Jones that time who got tangled up with one of the Polar Bear linemen and was shoved after the play, but there was no call. Now there's going to be a flag from the back judge, and it's going to be a delay of game on the offense.
So if Otterbein didn't get that call their way, at least they'll get 5 yards their way.
As it will bring up a 1st and 15 from the Otterbein 35-yard line, or well, excuse me, the Otterbein 34 and a half yard line.
We're not math majors. It's okay, folks.
Yeah. As now for the first time, the backup running back has come into the game for Ohio Northern. And I believe that is number 22.
It's Raymond Brown.
Raymond Brown.
Sophomore, 6'1", 240, so obviously a load to carry. He's obviously the heavier set. They like to go to him on these kinds of situations.
Yeah, he is given the ball immediately, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage for a gain of 5. And it will bring up a 2nd down and 10 from just inside the 30-yard line.
Kyle Blues and Preston Pearson combined on the tackle.
Decent crowd here on hand today here at Memorial Stadium for this senior day, as Otterbein trying to finish 500 for the 5th time in the last 7 seasons.
Yeah,
above 500.
Angle motions Brown to his left, sends his receiver, and he's going to keep it himself after faking to his receiver on the sweep again.
Well, what a fake that was by Pat Angle, as he had the entire Otterbein defensive line buying on that one, as Devin Price comes in, occasionally lines up as a flanker receiver, and that's how he was lined up on that play. Fakes the handoff, and Angle finds that wide open spot right down the middle. It's going to force an interesting situation here with a 3rd down and 6. Deep in Otterbein territory, I think, you're in field goal range, but for Ohio Northern.
He's going to come, Angle's going to come here empty backfield, and he's calling for the snap. He gets it. He's looking to pass. He's pressured immediately and just gets it away, but incomplete. And he was brought down on the play.
Kyle Blues just absolutely exploded into that backfield. And a great job by Pat Angle. Good desperation. Instead of take the sack, he still had one of his arms free, so just threw it away into the flat.
And they're going to bring out the punt unit, I believe.
Tim Daub's going to call a timeout here to figure out what the situation is. It looks like Pete Davila, the defensive coordinator for this Otterbein defense. It's going to be interesting to see what he calls here, because that was a little bit of an odd formation. We saw almost kind of a jailbreak style play. Whether they're going to try and pin it deep, or whether they do indeed trust their special teams unit. Andrew DeMario is the kicker for them, so it will be interesting to see what they're going to do here, because it is, as we said, 4th down and 6 from the 25. Do you go for it? Do you kick the field goal in these situations? It's not too windy today, thank goodness, despite the frigid temperatures. But we're going to see what Otterbein's going to be able to do and how they're going to respond to whatever happens here.
Yeah, Jacob, we've already seen Otterbein go for it on 4th down. Whether intentionally or unintentionally, we're not so sure. But now you've got Ohio Northern coming out in an interesting formation. They had the center over the ball. They had the punter back with 2 personal protectors, but then the rest of the line was out to the left. So we'll have to see. It looks like they're going to come out in the same formation. And this could be a fake. It'll be interesting to see, because there's only the numbers don't look good, as it's going to be a reverse pass, and they've got a man wide open, and he catches it down near the 5-yard line. And that just didn't look good for Otterbein.
That was Tyler Walter, the backup quarterback, that was in on the play, that took the reverse and then threw it to a wide open Dylan Quiot.
Yeah.
I had no idea where that ball was, what was going to happen there.
And, that's poor defense. That's poor execution by Otterbein. They saw the formation. They had just seen the formation and called timeout, and then they came out and didn't match up well. They had really had the Polar Bears run it right.
That's a coverage situation issue right there, because everybody was moved over to the far side.
they had one, it would have been about 1-on-3 out in the left, the near side of the field. So had the Polar Bears just tried to run it, they probably could have gotten that. And it was just a poor execution defensively that time by the Cardinals. As now there's a penalty marker.
The officials are discussing this one, and we're going to try and
I think
we'll wait the call from the official on this one.
they may be talking about an illegal man downfield.
Ineligible receiver, possibly.
This was a legal play. We had 5 offensive players, 53-79 on the line, and an eligible receiver on the end of the line. Legal play.
All right, they're going to say it was a legal play, so they clear that one up, as it will be a 1st and goal for the Polar Bears from the 7-yard line.
Risky offense that we talked about, a high up-tempo offense. We're seeing that right now from this Ohio Northern team.
As Magazine back in the backfield, he's going to take the handoff running right, and he is stacked up and dragged down at the 5-yard line after a 2-yard gain.
Justin Magazine carries.
Good job there by Kyle Blust and Tyler Green and Austin Jones to really close that gap.
Yeah, and after that letdown on 4th down, if the Cardinals could find a way to hold them to a field goal attempt here, it would be huge. As the ball is right on the 5-yard line. There's an angle in the gun with Magazine and 3 receivers to the top of the screen, but only 2 are covered at the moment, as now a linebacker moves over to cover the nearest receiver. As Angle checks the defense, takes the snap, runs the option out to the left, pitches to Magazine, and there just weren't enough people out there as he dives into the end zone for an Ohio Northern touchdown.
Good blocking scheme and good blocking setup for Magazine there. It was on the far side and was able to find that open spot. And, good job by the Ohio Northern offensive line to really close that gap and really kind of isolate. And I believe that was Kyle Blust on the far side that just wasn't able to keep up with the play. He got caught inside, and Magazine was running outside. And that's going to be an easy 6 for Ohio Northern.
And once again, it's a numbers game. They had 3 receivers, 3 defensive players, and then the quarterback and the running back versus 1 defensive end. And 5-on-4 just doesn't match up, as the extra point is put up and in, making it 7-0 Ohio Northern here at the end of the first quarter. 24.4 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
I think for Otterbein, what they learned from that drive was you have to watch. I think, and then again, it all started with that trick play. Should have been a field goal situation, but we weren't sure what Ohio Northern was thinking on that play. It's a good fake handoff, though. Legal play, as we said, and that really just set it up right there. If that's not the case, we're talking about a 3-0 game at the most.
Yeah, Jacob, with this being the last game of the season and these teams not really having too much to play for, I think they can pretty much throw their typical game plan out the window, and we can expect to see a lot of trickery on 4th down to go as we progress in this game.
And you know what? You're exactly right, and I kind of contradicted myself there that, Otterbein's already done a fake punt. So, obviously, something to watch for throughout the rest of this game.
And also on the kickoffs here, you never know. You never know what these teams are thinking. Especially with how this game's played out so far. We've had 2 fakes on 4th down already. So buckle in, folks. We could see some interesting stuff as this game continues. Yes.
Score update from Alliance, Ohio. Mount Union has just scored the first touchdown of the game as they lead with 1:26 left in the first quarter.
As this one is kicked off, it will be fielded inside the 15 by Tyler Hammond. He's trying to bring it right. He breaks through the initial blockers. He's got some people in front. He breaks out. He's across midfield now. He's got a blocker in front of him. He's taking it down the far sideline. He tries to make a cutback, and he is chased down all the way at the Ohio Northern 14-yard line.
Any questions for why they call him Speedy? They should call him Shifty on that play. Great job by Tyler Hammond to just keep his feet moving. We thought he was, okay, he's going to get taken down near the 25, but just kept his feet moving, kept his feet driving. And good job by Otterbein to, never give up on their blocking schemes and on their man. As Tyler Hammond, showing us why they call him Speedy.
Yeah, there was a cloud of defenders and players just stacked up near the 30-yard line, and it looked like he was going to get swallowed up there.
And I think this is the situation for Otterbein. You're inside the red zone. You have to be able to take this in for the score. Tim Daup talked about this all season long, converting on these chances.
Yeah, it's now Brick Davis out of the gun. He's got 3 near side receivers. He's going to fake the pass. He's looking deep. He's going to throw one now under duress out near Bryson Ray.
And that's the exact same kind of trouble he got in Otterbein's offensive line got Brick Davis into on the last drive, where he got taken down and just had to throw it away.
He didn't have much time to do anything there, as he pump faked and then he had a defender around his waist and had to just throw that one out towards his tight end, Bryson Ray, and it fell harmlessly to the turf, as it will bring up a 2nd and 10 from the 15-yard line of Ohio Northern. As Brick Davis with Piles in the backfield, 2 receivers near side, 1 receiver to the top of the screen. And he will take the shotgun snap, hands it off to Piles, going right up the middle. He bashes forward for about 2 yards, but it's going to bring up a 3rd down and long. And it'll be interesting to see what the Cardinals decide to do if they can't pick up this 1st down.
That's going to mark the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, and that's going to complicate things a little bit more, as the wind, even though there hadn't been much, it seems to have picked up a little bit, and it's going to be blowing into the face of the Cardinals as they move to the other side of the field now.
Yeah, and that means the importance of trying to get it as close as you can, even if you force yourselves into a field goal kind of situation. For Tim Daup, I think you have to think of kind of almost an option style play. Brick Davis, as we've seen, is a capable and dependable ball carrier. We've seen him run a handful of times this year. He scored the lone touchdown against Mount Union on that kind of sweep, on that option play to the far side, and it was on this exact same side of the field. So for Otterbein, you have to be thinking, multiple options here, and for Brick Davis, just to kind of keep his style up. We have not seen Drew Irvin yet, and a rather questionable decision being made. Not questionable, but for Otterbein.
Yeah, and
John Piles has been the guy to go to for the past few weeks. Him and Tyler Hammond have really been the guys gaining yardage, and Drew Irvin kind of struggling all season long, trying to get long yardage.
Yeah, and now on 3rd and 8, it's going to be Tyler Hammond in the backfield with Brick Davis, as he's got Hammond to his left with 2 receivers top of the screen, 1 receiver near side bottom of the screen, as Brick Davis surveys the defense, as the officials have not cleared them to play, and there's the whistle, so they're ready to go now. Brick Davis checks his receivers, takes the snap. It's going to be a rollout to the left. He's looking to throw back to the right, and now he's just going to float it up, and it's over the head of Bryson Ray and incomplete.
This is a drive that for Otterbein you had to have in your hands. You started it at the 15-yard line, and you're going to end it
at the 13-yard line.
At the 13-yard line, so not the kind of drive that Otterbein wanted. But we're going to see Quentin Miller, the freshman, who's emerged as the starting place kicker for this Otterbein team and long-distance field goal kicker, come in.
And this is going to be a 30-yard field goal from the 20-yard line, and the wind is pretty much dead right about now. As the snap is back, ball's down, kick is up, and it is good inside the left upright. And it brings the score to Ohio Northern 7 and Otterbein 3, just 7 seconds here into the second quarter.
And I think this is a game. This is one again that you could say it could be 7-7, and Otterbein has to be able to take some shots downfield. If you're Tim Daup, obviously the offensive coordinating unit here at Otterbein has to think, get to the end zone a little bit more, because we saw nobody take those shots, and Brick Davis was kind of forced into a situation where he had no space underneath.
Yeah, the offensive line is definitely going to need to pick it up, because when you start on the 15-yard line and you can only get 2 yards, you're not doing something right, and the offensive line did not give any room for Brick Davis to work that time. But at least they were able to pick up 3 points there.
Yep.
So now the special teams units make their way out onto the field, and it will be Anthony Ween to kick off for the Cardinals. And Devin Price is back to return for the Polar Bears. He's lingering around the 15-yard line currently.
Anthony Ween to kick off for Otterbein. Melvin Williams, Devin Price, and Chad Bridges to return for Ohio Northern.
As Ween checks the ball, takes his steps, measures out this kick. As he surveys to make sure his team is ready. And he's going to jog forward now and hit this one deep. And it's going to be fielded at the 10-yard line by Price. And he's going to come up the middle. He breaks one out near the near side now. And he's going to run out of bounds near the Polar Bears 45-yard line. And then trips and falls after hitting the ball to the official near the Otterbein 40.
And the Ohio Northern team continues to be physical on these kickoff returns. We saw John Vincent get into it again with one of the Ohio Northern guys, that Joel Perry. Perry doing a good job opening up that spot for Devin Price on the near side and was able to get him that extra space he needed to get all the way out to the 42.
And that, we've seen a few good returns so far for from both teams now, as this drive will be started by the Polar Bears on their own 42-yard line. 1st and 10 as they lead this game 7-3 here, early stages of the second quarter. As Engel in the gun moves Magazine over to his right. Now sends another receiver in motion out to the right, and he fakes the handoff, now throws a screen to Magazine, who gets a block and dives forward right at the 52-yard line, right near the first down marker.
That was a good read by Pat Engel as he saw Hamilton come in on the blitz. That opened up the exact spot out in the flats for Magazine to get the reception.
Yeah, and so far this offense for Ohio Northern has been hitting their big plays when they get numbers out there. They've just been having one more blocker than Otterbein has defenders, and that's usually a good sign for the team that's trying to move the ball. As now in the gun again is Engel. He sends his receiver out to the right and throws one quick over the middle, and it's off the shoulder of his intended receiver, Reed Allen.
Good job again. That was Jordan Shell in the coverage, who was able to just get an extra hand on him. He was kind of draped, right around him, and that was Reed Allen, the guy that was trying to get inside of Shell. Nearly had that option there, and nearly had the ball in his hands.
Yeah, I mean it was a little behind him, but he definitely should have brought that one in. And it would have been a nice gain for the Polar Bears, but it's going to bring up 2nd and 10. As Engel's out of the gun with Magazine behind him. He sends Magazine to his right, and Otterbein's going to blitz. He's going to fake the handoff to Magazine and hit his receiver, and the ball's on the ground. And they're going to call it an incomplete pass, as it was momentarily hauled in by, I believe that was the tight end that time.
That was a good job by Will Brett to come in right on the play. And, he thought he had the ball in his hands already, so he was just going to try and do what he could to come in and close in on him. But Brett able to jar that ball loose. Otterbein thought it was a possible fumble, but he did not have full possession of the football.
Yeah, and that was tight end Zach Zodi, who had that ball momentarily, but it was jarred loose. And now it'll be 3rd and 10 as Price is sent in motion out to the right.
Oh, wow.
And Tyler Green.
That was Evan Bergenstein.
Evan Bergenstein is going to plow right through the center of the Polar Bears, and there's flags all over the field. And it's going to be offsides on Evan Bergenstein.
That's going to be more than offsides and a composure. That's a composure thing you have to deal with right there if you're Bergenstein. That's not the penalty you want to be taking.
Yeah, you got him back in a 3rd and 10.
And that was more than what we've seen usually. That was a full-on contact kind of play.
Yeah, he just plowed right through the center. And now it's going to bring up a 3rd and 5 for the Polar Bears, as Engel sends Price in motion again to the top of the screen and takes the snap, is looking to pass, is pressured now, throws one quick over the middle, and he's got the completion. But coming back now is the receiver. That was number 5, Chad Bridges, who nearly brought that one back behind the first down marker. but is able to pick up just enough.
Otterbein's defense wasn't a hot pursuit of them, but then again, they were late on the coverage. And this is something that Ohio Northern does well, and Pat Engel himself, a seasoned veteran at this, just trying to find those open spots. And, you know, really his one thing we're noticing is that quick delivery and that inability, and Otterbein's inability to keep up.
Well, it looked like Preston Pearson got screened off that time by the official and wasn't able to stay with the receiver there. And now they'll have a first down from inside the Otterbein 40 as Engel takes a snap, fakes the handoff, throws it deep down the field, and it's a jump ball, and it's off the hand of his intended receiver, Chad Bridges.
And that's the kind of coverage we want to see, and that's what Ty Compton does well. He was able to keep up with him on that far side. We haven't seen him get in a whole lot of intense action here this season, but Compton just able to use his speed deep back in the end zone. Thought he had that one in his hands and just tried to, you know, grab it and, you know, knock it down at the same time.
That was one of the few times so far that Engel's been given a good time to throw the ball, and he took a chance to go towards the end zone. But it'll be 2nd and 10. As Engel once again motions Magazine to his right. He'll take the snap, hands it off to Magazine right up the middle. He plows through all the defenders right at the line and popped out on the other side and got all the way down to the 32 for a gain of about 5 yards.
That was a good block by the offensive lineman, Rod Ceballos. Ceballos just coming in from his tackle position was able to kind of move laterally to help Magazine move forward.
Yeah, I mean, he crashed right into the line of scrimmage and then popped out on the other side and was barely dragged down after a good gain. But it'll be a 3rd down and about 5 for the Polar Bears as Magazine to the left of Engel, and now Price is going to go to the top of the screen. Engel takes a snap, looking to pass, throws that screen, and it's in and out of the hands of his running back, Magazine, that time, and it will bring up a 4th down.
Dakota Schwain was the one on the coverage there for Otterbein, and he was able to get a hold of Magazine's ankles as he was about to grab that ball. And it's going to be 4-down territory and a 4th and 5 for this Polar Bear offense.
And it looks like they're just going to go for it straight up this time. No trickery, as their coaches on the sideline are giving them the plays as we speak. And they're going to stay in the gun. 2 receivers top of the screen, 2 receivers bottom of the screen. Magazine behind Engel in the gun, now to his left. And now Price is going to go to the top of the screen. And it's going to be a shotgun snap thrown over the middle and out of the hands of the intended receiver. And I believe
that was Ty Compton and Austin Jones, and great communication between those two.
And that was Terrence Jones, who was the intended receiver, and that one was just through his hands.
And that's the kind of coverage you want to see for Compton. Jones thought he had him wrapped up, and intended receiver nearly had the ball in his hands, and then Compton just came in late to knock it out.
And now Otterbein gets the ball back after scoring a field goal on their last possession, as Brick Davis looks to work out of the gun, and Tyler Hammond has replaced John Piles, at least for now, in the backfield. As 3 receivers top of the screen, 1 receiver near side bottom of the screen. As Brick Davis works out of the gun, takes the snap, hands off to Hammond going right up the middle, tries to spin through a tackle, and is still pushing, and gets out near the 37-yard line for a gain of about 5.
That's the kind of push that we see out of Tyler Hammond. He's obviously his height's one thing, but his ability, he's great lower body strength to be able to push himself forward.
Now Otterbein comes quickly, and they give it right back to Hammond. He breaks a tackle at the line, tries to cut it upfield, and is able to get 6 yards and enough for a 1st down.
I would watch for Brick Davis to really control this offense here and kind of base it off of that. We've seen these past 2 plays, he's gone right to Tyler Hammond from the shotgun.
And they've really picked up the tempo here as he takes the snap, throws the wide receiver screen, and it is juggled and dropped by his intended receiver, Ryan Toombs.
Hostetler was the guy on the coverage there coming in from his safety position, and once he saw Toombs juggle that ball, thought he had a chance to maybe scoop it up. Toombs just lost possession of it, though.
And we haven't really seen Otterbein try and throw it downfield much today. All their passes, it seems, have been screens near or behind the line of scrimmage so far.
That's exactly what I was mentioning earlier in this quarter, Jeff. You know, how Otterbein has to be able to take those chances. And for Otterbein's offensive line, you have to be able to hold those blocks and give Brick Davis that time because we haven't seen it. And that's probably why we haven't seen those deep passes.
And there we go again. That was a live ball. That was another screen, this time behind the line of scrimmage. And it was actually thrown backwards towards Tyler Hammond, and it bounced out of bounds, fortunately. But it's going to be a loss of about 5 yards. And that's going to bring up a 3rd and about 15 for Otterbein now.
Previous play was rolled a lateral.
This is a play where Otterbein has to be able to go deep, and I don't think you have any choice whatsoever on a 3rd and long situation. Davis has to be able to give himself time and space, and for the Otterbein offensive line, Jake Schaefer, the center, and you have Grant Knoppenberger next to him with Ryan Mickle. Those guys have to be able to hold their ground this time.
Yes, he's got the empty backfield. 3 receivers top of the screen, 2 receivers bottom of the screen. He'll take the snap, looking to pass, and he's pressured. He's hit, and he'll be sacked.
Again, no support, and inability to hold the block on those pass blocks. And that's going to force another 3 and out, and Brick Davis is right in the face of his offensive lineman, and rightfully so.
He has a right to be. The Polar Bears rushed 3 players that time. It was 5 offensive linemen for the Cardinals against 3 defenders, and they couldn't get the job done. And he didn't even have enough time to look to see where he could throw that ball. So he's got a right to be angry after that one.
Jordan Keaton combined for the Cardinals.
Talked about the vocal abilities of Brick Davis, and we're seeing it right there. You know, Otterbein just has to keep themselves in check.
As now it's going to be Keaton with another punt. It's a little high, but he brings it in, and oh boy, he shanked this one. And it's going to go out of bounds right at midfield. That one didn't even make it all the way to the 1st down marker.
Looked like he caught the side of his foot.
Yeah, and I mean, if that's the case, Otterbein might as well have gone for it, give him a chance to pick up the 1st down because that punt didn't even pick up the 1st down. They're going to mark it at the Otterbein 48-yard line.
This is where, for Otterbein, you have to be able to hold your ground here and really kind of force the punting situation for Ohio Northern because they have not punted once today. Otterbein has punted 2 times if you don't count the fake punt.
Yeah, both teams have run a fake on 4th down, but Otterbein's had to punt twice, and Polar Bears have not had to punt yet. As Engel out of the gun, motions magazine to that's his receiver who's going to get the screen there, and he breaks through into the secondary. And he's dragged out of bounds across the 40-yard line. That was number 3, Devin Price, who actually lined up in the backfield that time.
We thought John Vincent had Angle fooled there and did a little good job, kind of face guarding. And but a good job and good footwork by Justin Magazine on that play. Do a little shimmy shake as we got Raymond Brown back in the backfield.
That was actually, Jacob, that was the wide receiver, Devin Price, who came out of the backfield for that screen. It confused me as well. And now the backup, as you mentioned, Raymond Brown, he's a big boy back there. He's towering over everybody. As Engel is going to run the option with him running right. He's going to pitch it over to Raymond, and he's going to drag a defender across the 1st down marker and out near the 20-yard line as Raymond Brown picks up a 1st down on the option play.
Otterbein and offense, particularly Austin Jones, was trying to get Pat Engel to force him to hold it, but gave him enough space to hand it off to Brown.
And Brown is going to stay in the game, at least for now, with Engel in the backfield and 2 receivers top of the screen as Engel motions Brown to his left. And now he's going to send his receiver across and fake the handoff to him, throws it over the middle, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Reed Allen, and in and out of the hands of the Otterbein defensive player as well.
That was in and out of the hands of Ryan Moore, and we saw him jump up and down on that one, wanted that one back. But a score update here from Alliance, Ohio, and a shocker, needless to say. Mount Union on top, 21-0 halfway through the 2nd quarter. So John Carroll and Mark Myers' offense unable to get moving whatsoever.
And that is a definite clash of the Titans and the OAC. As now Engel takes the shotgun snap, throws a screen over the middle to Brown, who trips and falls down. Otherwise, he might have had more yardage. And that's going to be a 3rd down and about 3 now for the Polar Bears. But, yeah, that Mount Union John Carroll score, a little surprising. People thought that this might be the year that Mount Union loses, and John Carroll be the team to beat them. But John Carroll not getting it done today as they trail 21-0 in the second quarter.
Marietta also on top of the rival Capital Crusaders 28-21. That game's already at halftime.
And Engel is going to take the shotgun snap, fakes the handoff, and runs it up the middle himself, and he is met by a host of defenders, and he's dragged down at the 15-yard line.
Austin.
A yard and a half short of the first down.
Austin Jones was not going to bite on that play. And there was no way that he was going to allow that to happen as he saw who had the ball. We thought Devin Price had it there for a second, but we saw Engel go ahead with that full head of steam to lower that shoulder. Now we got Andrew DeMario in to attempt to kick.
This one's going to be about a 31-yarder from the opposite side of the field where Otterbein kicked theirs. As the snap is back, the ball's down, the kick is up, and it is good. So they get that field goal right back as Otterbein now trails the Ohio Northern Polar Bears 10-3 with 7.5 minutes remaining here in the first half.
I think this is the drive for Otterbein when you're midway through the second quarter that you have to be thinking you have to be able to throw it downfield. And for Tim Daup, again, it's the last game of the season. Take some shots downfield. We haven't seen that all day. But then again, when you're going to take some shots downfield, you have to have support in the pocket. The pocket's collapsing constantly on Davis, and it's not nearly enough for him to even scramble and get out of it.
Yeah, and you know, it's been effective so far running the ball with Tyler Hammond as the offensive line's been collapsing. The defensive players are making it into the backfield looking for the quarterback, and he's been able to sneak through up the middle and get into the secondary. And it's those little screens behind the line of scrimmage have been what's slowing them down. They need to find a way to either keep running the ball or pass the ball downfield, because those screens are supposed to be change of pace plays that confuse the defense, but not when you're running them on every series, and the defense is not fooled by them so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like Andrew DeMario, or let's see, that's going to be Matt Cheney who's going to kick this one off for the Polar Bears. He runs up and kicks it deep. It'll be fielded by Tyler Hammond at the 5. He's across the 10, out near the 20, off to the 25, dodges a tackler out past the 30 to the 35, cuts back and is dragged down at the 40-yard line. So he's been a really big spark so far for Otterbein.
And I would continue, and I would expect to see him throughout the game in all those situations, the kick return and the running game, as he's been that kind of spark for Otterbein. You have to be able to kind of open up your passing game a little bit and maybe kind of create that open space and force Ohio Northern to kind of open up their secondary.
Yeah, they need to find a way to get him the ball because he's been their biggest playmaker so far today. And he will stay in the backfield with Rick Davis here. And they're going to actually run a 2 running back set. So this will be interesting. We haven't seen this yet today. John Piles will join Tyler Hammond in the backfield with Rick Davis, as they are split. Piles to his left, Hammond to his right. And it's going to be a pitch out to Piles, but towards the near side of the field. And he's dragged down immediately for a loss on the play.
Well, what a read there by Adam Best, the linebacker coming in on the defensive end. Saw that play coming and saw Piles coming across.
And that's just not a great play call. Throwing that pitch out to the near side of the field, it forces him to try and cut back before he's ready, and the defense was waiting for him, and he loses 3 yards. And if you go to the right side with Hammond, you've got much more space to work on that play.
We got Bryson Ray lining up in the backfield here, so let's see how this impacts a little bit of backfield support here.
And it looks like Davis might be changing the play a little bit, and he's going to take the ball, hand it off to John Piles, who's running. He's weaving through defenders, makes his way to the outside, and he's dragged down, but he got all the yardage back and more as he's out near the 50-yard line. He's 2 yards short of the first down, it looks like.
I think this is a situation now where you get those decent runs, whether it's a run or pass, get that decent yardage and set up these manageable third down situations.
And now Hammond is going to come back to replace Bryson Ray. And it looks like they're going to keep both running backs in the backfield once again. Piles to the left of Brick Davis. Nope, they're going to switch. Hammond to the left of Brick Davis. Piles to his right. Now he's going to send Hammond out, and he's going to come back. It's a little bit of confusion here. Now he's going to send him out, and it's going to be a quick screen, and it's going to be over his head. And once again, that's a lateral. And once again, they lose a big chunky yardage on that play all the way back to the 40-yard line.
Brick Davis is obviously upset with the play calls here, not what he wanted out of Tyler Hammond.
Well, and that time it was clearly a backward lateral. The first one, there was a little question, but this one, it was just not a great pass. And it was over the head of Hammond. And Hammond isn't the greatest player to run those with because he's a very small guy.
His size is not favorable in those situations, and when you try to throw those high screens, you got to be able to go deep again. We keep seeing that screen pass, and Ohio Northern knows what's coming.
Yeah, now Keaton will punt again. He gets this one off. It's much better. It's going to drive the receiver back, and it's fielded at the 15-yard line. He makes a move past two Otterbein defenders, cuts forward, and isn't brought down until he gets across the 25-yard line.
Well, I think if you're Otterbein in this situation, you have to be happy if you can kind of force Ohio Northern to get a 3-and-out here, or at least force them to punt it in some sort of situation. And with 4:59 left in the second quarter, keep this as close as you can because you will be receiving the ball in the second half. So I think that's something that you have to kind of take for granted at this point.
Yeah, it would be a big thing here for Otterbein if they could keep the Polar Bears off the scoreboard on this drive and maybe get at least a field goal or a touchdown going into the half. As you mentioned, Jacob, they will get the ball to start the second half. So they need to try and build some momentum. And now the Polar Bears come out in a formation we haven't seen yet. They've got both backs behind Engel in the backfield. They're going to split, one to his left, one to his right. And now that's actually Price, who was in the backfield, and they're going to hand it off to Magazine straight ahead, who gets out to the 31-yard line. But the Polar Bears kind of taking a little page out of the Cardinals' book, sending two backs in the backfield with the quarterback out of the shotgun. As now Magazine's going to be replaced, or he's going to stay in, and one of their other receivers will come out.
It's going to be Shane Chamberlain, the tight end. We'll see how this mixes up here because now you have a tight end. You got two receivers to the far side and only one to the near side.
And we haven't really seen this formation too much today, but they do have Magazine in the backfield as he motions to the right of Engel. Engel takes the snap, hands it to Magazine coming left, and he's hit immediately, and he gains about 2 yards.
That was a good job by Otterbein's Preston Pearson, who's not going to bite on that move and just got low, kind of tried to force that tabletop-style tackle.
And it looks
really
like
stop him dead in his tracks. And this is going to be a third down situation where Otterbein has to watch for anything at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be a third and a long 4 from the 34-yard line. As now Magazine stays in the backfield, motions to Engel's right. Otterbein's going to bring a blitz out to the right, and it's going to be thrown out in the flat, and the catch is made by the freshman Terrence Jones, and he's got enough for a first down out at the 45-yard line.
Otterbein again just trying to force those situations where you get Pat Engel to throw, but you're giving him all kinds of space at this point. I think for the defensive line of Otterbein, you have to be able to blast through those blocks and kind of be able to get to the outside and get past those offensive tackles.
The pressure hasn't been getting there as much as it was earlier in the game. As now Engel comes out of an empty backfield, he's going to send his receiver Price in motion, hands it off. It's going to be a reverse. It's given to the other receiver, and he's going to be out on the far side. He hurdles a defender and is brought down after a big gain. That was Chad Bridges, who was able to come around on that reverse.
Good job by Chad Bridges to be able to kind of hide that ball, and good fake by Engel and Devin Price. And we could not tell who had that ball, but again, the blocking scheme for Ohio Northern really pays off there in their ability to move this ball. And they're doing a great job here of mixing it up on this Otterbein defense, and Otterbein just really struggling to kind of get a grip on what exactly is going on here.
The defense, Otterbein's defense hasn't given up too many big plays, but they've been giving up little chunks here and there, and the Polar Bears have been able to move it down the field.
Total offensive yards so far for Ohio Northern's 194 right now, so that's pretty indicative of how they've been driving the football downfield and killing this clock.
There's a high snap, and Engel brings it down and hands it off to Magazine, who's brought down at the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up a second and 10 from the 33.
Second down 9.
They actually gave him a yard on that play. It'll be a 2nd and 9.
College football scoreboard update here is Ohio State is now on top of 25th ranked Minnesota 24-14 late in the third quarter. That one with 37 seconds left in the third from TCF Bank Stadium.
As now Engel hands it off to Magazine, who breaks through the defense and is out near the 26-yard line. It's going to bring up another third down. But at this point on the field and with this much time left, just under a minute 30, I would expect it to be 4-down territory for the Polar Bears, even if they fail to get it here on third down.
Yeah, at this point you're looking at a possible 40-something yard field goal, and just based on what we've seen from DeMario's form, not a kicker that would be able to kind of be in those kinds of situations. So for Otterbein, you have to be able to kind of watch out for anything to happen here.
As this one is going to be taken and handed off to Magazine, who tries to go over the left side, and he's stacked up really close for the first down. And it looks like he's going to have enough. And, yep, they're not even going to measure it. It's going to be a first down for the Polar Bears. And they're going to take a timeout. I believe that's their first of the half, as there is 53 seconds remaining here in the first half, as the Polar Bears lead the Cardinals 10-3. That was, in fact, their first time out of the half. And so far, the Otterbein defense has played fairly well, but they've been unable to contain this Polar Bears offense as they move the ball down the field here at the end of the first half. And the Cardinals offense has really struggled. They found something in Tyler Hammond, but they continue to shoot themselves in the foot with the use of these screens out in the flats that have not been going anywhere on these last few possessions, as the offense has struggled to move the ball downfield with their only field goal coming after a 69-yard kickoff return from Tyler Hammond, who placed the ball at the 15-yard line to start the drive, and they were only able to pick up 2 yards, and they ended up kicking the field goal from the 13-yard line, so not a very good drive, although it did get them points. As the teams have come back out on the field, they're going to be a 1st and 10 from the 22 for the Polar Bears, as Engel motions Magazine to his left. He's going to send Price out in motion over to the right. He takes the snap. 2 receivers run into each other. Engel is going to run, and he gets it away to his receiver. That is Chad Bridges, who is tackled for a 2-yard loss. And the clock is going to run. It's under 40 seconds now. And the Polar Bears look confused here. And now they're going to call a timeout after they wasted at least 8 seconds there, as the ball is now back on the 25-yard line. It'll bring up a 2nd and 13 from the 25. And Cardinals defense, that was a big play there, as that may have pushed the Polar Bears out of field goal range for now. But we will see if they're able to pick up any more yardage on 2nd down. And it would be, there haven't been any turnovers in this game. And now the head official is going to ask for the clock to be set to 35. But as I was saying, there was no turnovers so far in this game. So let's see, this would be a huge stop if the Otterbein Cardinals were able to force a fumble or get an interception here going into the half, as they will get the ball to start the second half. But the Polar Bears will come out 2nd and 12 from the 25. Magazine and Price in the backfield. They split out, 1 to each side of Engel. Now Otterbein's going to blitz up the middle, Angle's going to be pressured. He's going to roll out to his right. Now he's going to run it. He's going to take this one to the sideline, and he will duck out of bounds at the 19-yard line. It will bring up a third down, but that will probably have moved the Polar Bears back into field goal range for the time being, as that play took only 9 seconds off the clock. There's 26 seconds remaining here in the first half. It will be a 3rd down and 6 for the Polar Bears from the Otterbein 19-yard line, as they lead the Cardinals 10-3, as the Polar Bears are getting their play from the sideline from their coaches. Angle comes out in the gun, motions Magazine to his right, 2 receivers bottom of the screen, 2 receivers top of the screen. He fakes the handoff, looking to pass, throws it well over the head of his intended receiver. He was looking for Terrence Jones there, but I think he felt the pressure and got rid of that one quickly, as it was well over the head of his receiver. And it's going to bring up a 4th down for the Polar Bears. With 21.4 seconds remaining in the first half, this field goal attempt will be coming from the 26-yard line. So it'll be a 36-yard attempt. He made earlier from 31. And let's see how he does from 36. The snap is back, ball's down, kick is up, it's low. But it sneaks its way through on the right side, and it is good. And with 16.6 seconds remaining in the first half, the Polar Bears extend their lead over the Cardinals to 13-3. As after the kickoff, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals just take a knee to get this thing into halftime, as their offense has not been doing very much here in the second quarter. But the way Tyler Hammond's been returning kicks, you never know where they're going to start this drive. So it'll be interesting to see here after this kickoff how the offense decides to head into the half. And John Carroll has scored late in the second quarter against Mount Union. It is now 21-7 late in the second quarter of that game. So not quite as bad of a blowout as it looked like it might be headed for, as John Carroll looks like they might be trying to fight their way back into that game against the Mount Union Purple Raiders. And now Matt Cheney is set to kick off to the Cardinals. Let's see if he tries to kick this one away from away from Tyler Hammond this time, as he has been returning the ball very well in this game so far. He runs up now and kicks it away. It's going to be a low squib kick. It will be fielded out near the 25, out to the 30. Stiff arm out to the 35, and he's dragged out of bounds at the 36-yard line. That was Austin Jones, and there are 11.6 seconds left in the half. And Otterbein will take over at their own 36-yard line with 11 seconds and 2 timeouts. I don't know if they're going to try for any big plays here. They may be content to take a knee and go into the locker room. And they will not. It doesn't look like they're going to take a knee here, as they come out with Brick Davis in the gun and John Piles to his left, as they have 2 receivers near side, 2 receivers top of the screen, far side. And he's going to take the snap, hand it off to John Piles, who battles his way forward out near the 40. But that will most likely bring us to the end of the first half, and in fact it will. So at halftime, the Otterbein Cardinals 3, the Ohio Northern Polar Bears 13. And we're going to take a quick break here at the half. So thank you for tuning in, and you will hear from us as the half goes on with some halftime analysis. But so far, 24-7, Mount Union has taken care of business. And and for Ohio State, they are currently up 31-21 with 7 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter up in Minneapolis against the 25th ranked Minnesota Golden Gophers, as Minnesota had just scored in that game. But Ohio State taking care of business there as well.
Also around the college football, all around the nation, college football and the college football scoreboard here, Virginia Tech, they are on top of Duke with 7:12 left in the fourth quarter. 17-16, Duke, number 21 ranked team in the country, a team that several years ago was kind of down, for lack of better terms, kind of down in the dumps. They were a team that was complete opposite of what the basketball team is. And right now, Georgia Tech, 22 ranked Yellow Jackets, they are on top of 19 ranked Clemson, 28-6. Clemson with the their starting quarterback Cole Stout, the native of Dublin, Ohio, in that one. There's not getting much done there. And later this afternoon, the one that everybody's going to have circled on their calendar, and the one in which everybody's going to be watching, by the time hopefully dinner gets over, this one will be over. But Mississippi State, they will be hosted by Alabama. Mississippi State, the number one ranked team in the country, and Alabama, number 5th ranked team in the country. But Jeff, for Otterbein, what are the keys to in the second half, moving the ball forward? We're not able to take any shots down the field due to lack of blocking. But what has to change in order to make that happen? Well,
they need to change up their offensive mindset here. They have as a team, they only have 9 carries, 5 for John Piles for 14 yards, and then 2 for Tyler Hammond for 11 yards, which both came on that last drive. Tyler Hammond, 2 carries, 11 yards. That's almost 6 yards a carry. That's very effective. They need to get him the ball more, and they need to stop throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage, as they've lost good chunks of yardage the last 2 possessions on laterals that were called on screen passes that went out of bounds. So they're going to need to start working the ball down the field, run the ball more. You're getting good enough chunks of yardage with Tyler Hammond. I don't know why they're not using him more.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This Otterbein offense has to find a rhythm here as we are about to start the second half from Memorial Stadium as 2 teams gather their special teams units together. One of the guys of note we saw late in that second half where there was a squib kick, as this time they will appear to not want to kick to place kicker Andrew DeMario, or excuse me, that is Kyle Matt Chaney.
Yeah,
not looking to kick to Tyler Hammond here on this one.
Yeah, they may not kick it deep the rest of the game if Otterbein's offense proves that they cannot move the football. It looks like the Polar Bears are saying, well, the only place they've hurt us so far is in the kick return game, so we're just not going to do that anymore.
As we are about to get underway here in the second half from Memorial Stadium, Matt Chaney to kick it away here for the Polar Bears. This one he will kick deep, and it's going to go right into the hands of Tyler Hammond right near the 6-yard line. He's going to scramble out across the 20 to the 25 to the 30, and he's taken down right at the 30-yard line indeed by a handful of Ohio Northern defenders.
And even that's still not a bad return there. He's all the way out to the 30-yard line. It really, when you can start in plus territory like this as the Cardinals have, it should really help out your offense. But so far they've only been able to muster 3 points, and that was on the drive they started at the 15-yard line.
And nose tackle, that's Kyle Cunning, that's A.J. Simpson going up against Jake Schaefer, the center, and Brick Davis in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the near side. Toombs now motions in the backfield, and he's going to hand it off, and making his first appearance in the game is Drew Irvin. And Irvin carries the load ahead for 6 yards as he bowls his way ahead, knocking his own offensive lineman, Grant Hoppenberger, down to the turf.
Well, and he just plowed right through number 16, defensive back Austin Hostetler. He tried to meet him head on, and he just got blown backwards.
Otterbein in the hurry-up offense now. 3 receivers to the far side, 1 man to the near side. That's Logan Stepp. Irvin in the backfield. Davis takes a look, takes a snap, and he's going to hand it off to Irvin yet again. Irvin again just gets a couple yards ahead with a full head of steam and forces a 3rd down and about 2 situation.
But see, this right here, why haven't they been doing this? Irvin, those are his first 2 carries. He's given you 8 yards. And now you're in 3rd and short. If you can just run it for a few yards every time, you're going to be able to pick up first downs.
Davis again in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the far side. He's got Laird and Benner on that side. Toombs and step to the near side, and Irvin in the backfield. Davis takes a look, takes a snap. He's going to hand it off to Irvin once again. And Irvin, he's got the first down and maybe more as he is ahead to the 42-yard line for the first down.
Yeah, and he gets the first down. He was hit near the line of scrimmage and is able to fall forward for 2 yards. And this guy, he's a bull. He just doesn't, when he gets hit, he's not going to fall backwards. He's going to fall forwards and pick you up positive yardage.
Drew Irvin, 240-pound fullback, and he's carrying himself like that right now as the Cardinals line up in the exact same formation. Davis is going to hand it off to Irvin yet again, and Irvin scrambles ahead for a gain of about 4 yards. And, Jeff, this is something you talked about. This is the rhythm that Otterbein needs to get going, and it looks like they're trying to get that going here.
Well, and if you get 3 or 4 yards on every play, you're just going to get a first down after first down after first down. And so it doesn't make sense to me is why the offense was trying to run those swing passes so much in the first half.
Davis in the shotgun once again, the exact same formation. Toombs now motions back behind Davis. Now he's going to hand it off to Irvin. Irvin nowhere to go on that one as he was met by Kenny right away. Stephen Kenny, the senior defensive end.
And he gets met at the line of scrimmage, and he's still able to fall forward for 1.5 yards. And it's going to be a 3rd and 5. It's a manageable situation here.
As Joey Longino and Kevin Green on the sideline give the play to Brick Davis. Irvin takes a look now, and Toombs in step on the near side. Benner and Laird to the far side. Irvin in the backfield. Davis in the shotgun with 12, 20, and counting here from Memorial Stadium. Takes a snap. Davis now, he's going to look deep downfield. Tries to go deep to Travis Laird, who makes the catch inside the 20-yard line for the first down. Travis Laird.
Yeah, and he's given time there. Rick Davis is given time, a key block from Drew Irvin, who takes out the blitzer. And Brick Davis is able to step into that throw and pick up the big gain.
Only the second trip to the red zone for Otterbein this game as they look to get back into this one. Now Davis takes a look, throws a little bubble screen over out to Cole Benner. Cole Benner had it wide open, just unable to get his hands on it.
And there you go. What are you doing? What are you doing? We're moving the ball so well. We're running it up the middle. We're hitting them deep. And then you're going to go right back to those screen passes that didn't work at all in the first half. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, Jeff, that was a little bit of a different play on that situation because they were trying to get Benner on the angle as he was leaning it, looking to get some. He had open field ahead of him on that far side. But Davis will get it in the shotgun once again. Step and Toombs on the near side. Benner and Laird to the far side. Davis in the shotgun. He's got Irvin as his back, and he's going to hand it right off to him, but he's met right at the line of scrimmage.
Now you're gonna come up here on a 3rd down and about 9 from the 20, and once again you get close to the end zone, and then you stop picking up yardage. And this offense has had a real rough go of it today, that's for sure.
And onto the field comes Bryson Ray, as Cole Benner will take a stand on the sideline. And now Davis is going to motion for Irvin out wide. Empty backfield for Davis here as he's got Ray, Laird, and Drew Irvin to the far side. Toombs in step to the near side. Davis takes a snap. He looks for Toombs, and he nearly was able to bring it down, but a good job there by Austin Hostetler. Hostetler able to get his hands right in front of Toombs and force the incompletion, and a 4th down and 10 upcoming here. Looks like we're going to see the field goal unit come on once again, and Quentin Miller up to attempt his second kick of the afternoon.
And this one is, once again, it's going to be going into the wind for the Cardinals, and this one is going to be a 37-yard field goal. So
Quentin Miller made his first field goal of the day, 30 yards, as Thomas Leonard to hold. Leonard to hold. The snap is up, kick is up, and it goes right through the uprights and good. And Otterbein is now within 7.
And that's a good drive there by Otterbein, coming right out in the second half. Moving the ball downfield effectively and picking up some points. It's a little frustrating that they can't get the ball into the end zone after how well that drive started, but they needed to get points, and now they need to hold on defense.
The time of that drive was 3 minutes and 49 seconds. That one capped off by the 37-yard field goal for Quentin Miller.
And now let's see if Otterbein decides to use any trickery on their kickoffs, as we've seen a lot of stuff going on in the first half.
As Anthony Ween set to kick off for Otterbein, 13-6. Otterbein crawling back to within 7 points to try and get themselves back into this game, and now they will turn to their defense here following this kickoff. Ween breaks the huddle, and he will look to kick it away, and Devin Price and Melvin Williams deep to receive for the Polar Bears. Ween will take a look. He's going to walk into this one. He'll drill it deep. In fact, he's just going to squib it right down the middle. Not looking to get it to Devin Price, but gets it to him anyway, trying to close him down. Will Brett gets a handle on him near the 40-yard line. And the Polar Bears will start their drive from right there.
Yeah, that was, I'm not so sure that he was trying to squib that one. It looked like maybe he just hit that ball a little bit, because that didn't really look like a typical squib kick that you're used to seeing from these kickers. And it really didn't work out very well, as Price was able to pick it up near the 20 and take it out to the 41. And they'll have very good starting field position.
Engel in the backfield, and he'll go into the shotgun. Magazine standing right behind him. Interesting formation here as the Polar Bears have 2 men to the far side, 1 man to the near side. Now Magazine moving back and motion from Devin Price. Engel takes a look deep downfield. He's got a man wide open. That's Devin Price, who makes the catch over Will Brett's head. And it's going to be another first down deep in Otterbein territory for Ohio Northern, out to about the 28-yard line.
Yeah, in that time, it was Will Brett. Looked like he was just watching the ball, and he stopped thinking it was going to come to him, and it just got caught up in the wind and carried over his head, allowing for that big play for Devin Price.
1 man to the near side, 2 men to the far side for Ohio Northern. Engel in the shotgun. His Magazine looks to move right beside him. He's going to fake the handoff, and he's going to throw a screen out over to the far side. He's taken down over there, Ty Compton.
And
Tyler Habany, the one on the catch.
Those screens out there haven't really been working for either team today. It's been interesting. That was really the first time Ohio Northern tried to throw it downfield, and Otterbein went for it downfield the first time on their last possession. So let's see if these offenses try and open it up here in the second half.
As on to the field comes, I believe that's Dalton Jarvis. He's going to take the spot for Zach Hamilton. Otterbein lining up with four defensive linemen. And it looks like we're going to wait for Vincent to blitz here. Engel in shotgun, he'll hand it right off to Magazine. Magazine tries to go straight up the middle, but he's met by the interior defensive line of Otterbein. Good job there by John Vincent to be able to plug up that hole and force the 3rd down and 9 situation for Ohio Northern.
And it'll be a nice 3rd and long, but it's going to be an important stop for the Cardinals to try and pick up here.
That one's actually going to be a gain of 4 and 3rd down and 6 for the Polar Bears. Engel in the shotgun once again. He's got Magazine right behind him. This time we got trips to the left on the near side and 1 man to the far side. Engel in the shotgun, takes the snap, takes a look, goes deep to the end zone, and making the catch for the touchdown is the tight end, Shale Chamberlain. Great throw from Pat Engel as he got past Ty Compton on that one, and a great lead throw. And that'll nearly double up the score here. That's going to make it, barring the extra point, a 20-6 lead for the Polar Bears.
Yeah, and see, this is what the defense couldn't do. They can't allow such a quick score. I mean, that was only about a 5 or 6 play drive. Ohio Northern marched right down the field and put that one in the end zone.
4 plays, 59 yards, in a minute 55. Extra point is up, and it is good. And it is 20-6 Ohio Northern, 9-10 left here in the 3rd quarter.
And so here's where kicking those field goals can get you in trouble. When you're in offense and you're struggling to score, and you start to settle for field goals and instead of trying to get it into the end zone, especially when the other offense is now starting to pick it up as well. Otterbein is going to find themselves down by 14 points here, and they've been unable to get the ball into the end zone all day. So it's going to be an uphill battle, that's for sure.
Otterbein 2 trips to the end zone, 2 field goals. Ohio Northern, meanwhile, Looking at 2 touchdowns on the day. First one coming from Justin Magazine in the second quarter.
Yeah, it was only a 4-play, 59-yard drive that time for the Polar Bears.
And again, Jeff, we talked about this similar style that we've seen earlier this season, very much a hurry-up style offense.
In the whole game, the Otterbein defense hadn't really been giving up big plays, but there were 2 or 3 of them on that drive, and Ohio Northern just marched right down the field.
Cheney to kick it off for Ohio Northern. Second time this half he's attempted to kick off. Hammond and Piles deep to receive for the Cardinals. Cheney's kick is up, and it looks like it's going to go right into the hands of Hammond yet again. Hammond with some space, trying to move around a little bit, and he's going to get nowhere and wrapped up around the 16-yard line.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate kick location, as it looked like the Cardinals were trying to return that one left, so all the blocking went left, and that punt went to the right of Tyler Hammond, so he had no blockers in front of him.
Nine minutes left here from Memorial Stadium here in the third quarter. If you're just joining us, Pat Engel is past to Shale Chamberlain, 24 yards, giving Ohio Northern the 20-6 lead after Otterbein had to settle with a field goal on their last drive. Otterbein's offense is back out onto the field. Davis in the shotgun, exact same formation we've seen the past few drives. Benner and Laird to the far side. Step and Toombs to the near side. Irvin in the backfield. Davis hesitates a little bit, takes a look. He's got Cole Benner wide open down the field, all the way out to the 45-yard line near midfield on the far side as he gets as Cole Benner got a step on the defensive back. That's Dan Eller.
And it's been a little frustrating because where is this passing game the whole first half? They didn't try and go downfield at all in the first half, and they've had great success so far on their 2 deep attempts in this half.
Toombs, Laird on the near side, and is in the shotgun. Davis, he'll throw it away to Toombs. Toombs is going to go ahead for about 5 yards. They're going to give him forward progress on that one, as he had Cole Benner in an option as well. Justin Tello on the tackle for the Polar Bears. And for Otterbein, Jeff, you have to be thinking you're driving it downfield here. If you're going to get it, if you're going to get it in the same position as you did the last drive, you got to get it in the end zone.
Yeah, they're moving this ball well, and now you need a touchdown. The field goals are nice, but you definitely need to score on this drive.
Davis in the shotgun, Toombs in motion. Now he's going to hand it off to Irvin. Irvin leans ahead for a gain of about 6 yards, and that's going to be good enough for a first down to about the Ohio Northern 43-yard line. As Bryson Ray coming off to the sideline to get the play. Actually, he will come off the field in favor of Logan Stepp.
And with how Irvin's been running the ball here, it's a little bit of a head scratcher as to why he wasn't in the game in the first half.
Davis in the shotgun. He's got Piles and Irvin to right in the backfield. Davis hesitates just a little bit and just goes down on the play. He's going to throw it away as he was being hauled to the ground. As the pocket collapsed on him there, it looked like a little bit of a confusion. And we're going to see the flag has been thrown, but we're going to see what the issue is here. As Brick Davis is down, he's slow to get up.
It's going to be intentional grounding. There really wasn't a receiver in the area.
And you really can't blame Brick Davis for that one, Jeff, as he was being hauled down.
It doesn't make a difference because it's from the spot. It was either he's going to get sacked or he's going to try and throw it away and not get the intentional grounding. But so it's just like he took the sack right there.
So Otterbein now in a hole as they're facing a second down and long situation. Davis in the shotgun. He's got Irvin in the backfield. Stepp and Toombs from the near side. Laird and Benner to the far side. Now pocket nearly collapsing on Davis yet again. He's able to lean ahead for a few yards. In fact, he's brought back to the line of scrimmage.
And now, all of a sudden, the offensive line disappeared again.
And it brings back deja vu for Otterbein all over again. Third down and 22 from the Otterbein 45. Davis looking to go deep here on this play, and looks like we're gonna see potential empty backfield here for Otterbein. Looks like we're going to see Irvin in the backfield, though. So correction on that one. Let's see what Davis is going to do here in the shotgun. Davis with step and Toombs to the near side. Laird and Benner to the far side. He's going to hand it off to Irvin. Irvin just trying to escape to get ahead for some yards. As one of the defenders' helmets came off there, as Irvin's shoulder leans right into him. That was Hostetler again.
And that was a gain of about 13 yards, so it'll bring up a 4th and 9. And they might think about going for it now.
As Tim Daub's they're just going to send out the punt unit right now.
I don't know about this call.
And you know what, I kind of do in a sense, because, you know, for Otterbein, they need to. And we're going to get a timeout call here at the very last second, as it appears that Dean Paul was not happy. Dean Paul was not happy with the guys he had out on the field. Was trying to scramble around Otterbein, trying to hurry it up a little bit, and he said, nah, slow it down. Calls the timeout. But for Otterbein, Jeff, I think I kind of agree with this situation here, because you have to be able to pin it deep and really force a game of field position here, because if you don't get the first down, you got to think you're letting the Polar Bears take over from nearly the same spot they did on the last drive. It was not much of a problem whatsoever. They were able to do it quickly.
That is true, Jacob, but again, they were able to just move in 4 plays all the way down the field and score a touchdown without much trouble. And I'm not sure, after what I saw out of that defense, I don't know if they're going to be able to stop them regardless of where they end up fielding this ball. And, I mean, we did see a fake earlier, so we might get that here, but you never know.
Keaton able to punt. Keaton looking to punt this one away. Hasn't seen the action yet in the second half. One of the 19 seniors on this team, he takes the snap, and he's going to punt this one away. He's calling for the fair catch on that one, and it gets a lucky Ohio Northern bounce, so right to about the 20-yard line, where Ohio Northern will take over yet again, 20-6. They are leading with 6:18 left here in the third quarter from Memorial Stadium.
And, I mean, you only gained 20 yards on that punt. It's like he had a touchback there. So, I mean, we'll see what happens here. If the defense is able to hold up, then it was a good call. And I mean, it's all up to the defense now. The offenses, they started to move the ball, but they really bogged down on that last possession with a sack. And now it's up to the defense to get a big stop.
Engel in the shotgun. Once again, he's got Magazine right beside him. 2 men to the near side, 1 man to the far side. Attempts a little clap Cades now, and now the ball is snapped. He's going to hand it off to Magazine. Magazine escapes ahead for a gain of about 6 or 7 yards. He's wrapped up by Zach Hamilton, Tyler Green, among a handful of other Otterbein defenders. As the play is blown dead, and it should be about a second down. And they're going to mark it at about the 25-yard line. So second down and 5 for the Polar Bears.
And now you got a short second down. So this defense is really going to have to step it up now. And it looks like he's going to go empty backfield. We haven't seen this too much.
Empty backfield for Pat Engel. And he's going to hand it off to Devin Price. Price on the handoff on the flanker reverse. And he's going to take that one down to about the 28-yard line. So it's going to be a third down and short. An interesting situation here if you're head coach Dean Paul and Ohio Northern. Been able to move the ball pretty well all day. With 5 minutes left in the third quarter, Magazine back into the game.
And I would expect them to hand it off because Otterbein's really had trouble stacking him up all day so far.
Third down and 2 from the 28. Engel in the shotgun. Price in motion, and he's going to hand it right off to Magazine. Magazine's able to get ahead to the first down and maybe more as he breaks a tackle from Will Brett. He's finally wrapped up by Compton and Hamilton, put right out to the 39-yard line and keeps the ball moving. He keeps the clock moving, and Ohio Northern gets another first down.
Yeah, he's been running hard today. He's gone over 100 yards now in the game, and we've definitely had trouble stopping him out there today.
That's the 14th first down for the Polar Bears.
And Otterbein.
7 first downs compared to Ohio Northern's 14. Has Engel in the shotgun again. He's got 3 men to the far side, 3 men to the near side, 1 man to the far side, and Magazine in the backfield. In the shotgun, he takes a snap, hands it right off to Magazine. Magazine's able to get around the defensive end there. That was Bergenstein. He's wrapped up by Austin Jones. The penalty flag was thrown and appears to be a hold on the offensive line.
Yeah, the outside end there might have been holding, and that may have been why he was able to get to the corner that time.
Dakota Schwann also in on the stop. And we wait the call from the official.
Offense, number 76, 10-yard penalty from previous spot. First down.
So it's going to be a hold on number 76, Mike Howell. He's 6'4" senior out of Smithsville, Ohio.
And a final for from the Big Ten. Ohio State was able to hold on to beat the Minnesota Golden Gophers up in Minneapolis 31-24. They recovered an onside kick with just over a minute left to put that game away.
And that win keeps Ohio State's playoff chances alive as escaping ahead on the play there. That was Tony Davis into the game from Trenton, Ohio.
And it's a big win for the Buckeyes as they were finally able to get another ranked team on the schedule, albeit a 25th ranked team. It's the second one they've beaten in a row, actually.
Big Ten widely criticized for not having some of the most highly skilled teams in NCAA football in Division I. But Ohio State's starting to prove themselves here a little bit. They got a young, great quarterback in J.T. Barrett. He's played well for head coach Urban Meyer. Has Engel in the shotgun, motion from Price. And it's storming into the backfield is Hamilton trying to get to Engel. And he's just able to get that one away to Davis again. That's going to be a game for maybe about 1 yard there. Good job there by Zach Hamilton to storm into the backfield, though, and force the issue for Ohio Northern.
Yeah, and the Cardinals have a real opportunity here at 3rd and long to get this offense off the field and put their offense back out on the field with just over 2 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter.
3 men to the near side, 1 man to the far side. Engel in the shotgun, and he's got Davis next to him. Engel steps outside the pocket, and he's wrapped up in the backfield by who else? Zach Hamilton. And he'll make that 9.5 sacks on the season.
Yeah, and you know he's going to be trying to get one more to get himself over 10, because if you can get 10 sacks in a season where you only play 10 games, that's very impressive.
And that's going to force a 4th down and 24. Only, I believe, the 2nd time we've seen Ohio Northern punt today. Cole Benner deep to receive for Otterbein. Good job by Keaton as he nearly got a hand on that one. Benner is going to take it, and he's met right down at the 40-yard line. As Otterbein will take over.
Yeah, it was a little surprising he decided to take that without the fair catch, because there were 3 Polar Bear defenders right on him. And they looked almost surprised as well that he hadn't called a fair catch, because they paused a little bit after he caught it, thinking, oh, he called a fair catch. And then they all crashed into each other, and there was no gain on the play.
1:49 left here in the 3rd quarter. A reminder, this is our final football broadcast of the season. You can catch Otterbein men's basketball on WOBN 97.5 FM on Tuesdays. They travel to Hiram. Elijah Gonzalez and David Kinder will have the call on that one.
And they will need your support.
It's a long drive all the way up to Hiram, Ohio, about 3 hours. As Davis in the shotgun does a little pump fake there. Tries to just throw this one out of bounds. Nobody in the intended area, and he's not going to risk anything this time. Just going to force a 2nd down and 10 for Otterbein.
Yeah, he hasn't really looked too comfortable throwing the ball today. He's missed a number of open receivers, and he's overthrown some receivers. I don't know what it is, but he's going to need to get it together here going into this 4th quarter.
Davis takes the play from the sideline as Longino and Green motion the plays to him. Irvin waiting his assignment. He's going to line up in the backfield. 3 men to the far side, 1 to the near side. That's Logan Stepp. And Davis is going to take it himself on the option. And he's going to scramble ahead for about a gain of 5. And that's what Davis does well. Takes those option plays. He's not afraid to get to those dirty areas and run the ball.
It was a very good read that time as the defensive end had came up on Drew Irvin, and Irvin would have been smoked immediately had he received that handoff.
As with 1:14 left and counting from Memorial Stadium, it's 20-6 Ohio Northern on top. Davis in the shotgun. Step and tubes to the near side. Benner and Laird to the far side. Irvin in the backfield has the blocking back, and Davis is going to look downfield for Cole Benner, and that one goes way over his head. And I think we're going to get a pass interference call, or roughing the passer, I believe it was, as Davis is down in the backfield. And we're going to wait the call from the official as to who that's going to be on, but it certainly looked like a roughing the passer there, Jeff.
Well, and that would be interesting. It was the back judge who threw the flag, and there was a receiver, a ref in the backfield who didn't throw his flag. So we'll see here what the call is.
Pass interference, defense, number 11.
Oh, it's going to be a pass interference on Cody Cox. Rather shocking call there, as we didn't really see much of anything. We saw a reaction, a little bit of a reaction from Benner, but it was more the reaction from Davis as he was down in the backfield. But none the worse for wear. Otterbein's going to take it, and it's going to be an automatic first down, and this is a trip. And it's going to be an automatic first down at the spot of the foul, so from the Ohio Northern 38.
And that's a huge break for the Cardinals, as that would have been another down. It would have been fourth down. They would have had to punt again. But now they're going to have to keep this drive going here into the fourth quarter.
As we're awaiting the call from on the sideline, Bryson Ray into the game as the tight end on the near side. Toombs and Laird on the near side as well. And we got Logan Stepp this time lining up on the far side. Davis surveying his options here as Ohio Northern ready to go on their defensive line. Shotgun for Brick Davis. And he takes the snap. Nice blocking there, and he's going to hand it over for Toombs, and in double coverage. And another pass interference looks like it's going to be called here. As we got 2 penalty flags down on the play.
I think he was being held. He just wasn't able to make it to the point where that ball landed, and I think it's because one of the defenders had a hold of his jersey.
And that's Cody Cox again. So watch for Otterbein to target that area and test his composure a little bit, as Brick Davis has done that here. A good job by Otterbein to exploit that.
That's 2 huge penalties in a row on Cody Cox that have really cost the Polar Bears.
So defensive holding, as he was getting an extra hand on Logan Stepp there. Play clock down to 15. As we got trips left and 1 man to the near side. Irvin in the backfield. Davis takes a snap on the shotgun, and he's going to get it over to Laird on the bubble screen. Laird tries to scramble ahead for a few more yards, and he's going to go down at about the 30-yard line for about a second down and 1 yard to go.
Yeah, and that was a better designed play at that time. They had 3 receivers over there, so you set up your 2 blockers, and it lets Brick Davis throw to a stationary target as opposed to when he was trying to hit the
clock down below 30 here in the third quarter. Second down and 1 for Otterbein. Davis in the shotgun. Takes a snap. He nearly fumbles that one. He's going to try and scramble ahead to get the first down himself. He's just going to go out of bounds. And that one's going to force a loss of about 2 and make it 3rd down and 4. Little miscommunication there between Irvin and Davis is forced to just scramble out of bounds.
And that could have been disastrous there, as it looked like Irvin ran into Brick Davis and the ball popped up in the air that time. And it could have really been bad.
As coming into the game, it's Cole Benner back in the lineup. Christian Brent, the sophomore wide receiver and brother of Will Brett, into the lineup. Empty backfield for Brick Davis, 3rd down and 5. And a timeout called by head coach Tim Dowd.
No, that was the end of the 3rd quarter there.
Actually, yeah, you're correct.
So we're going to move to the 4th quarter now as Otterbein trails the Polar Bears.
I know the game's not over. Sorry.
20-6.
And Jeff, if you're Otterbein here, you have to take advantage of this one right here, you think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've got the ball on the 24-yard line. You're 3rd and 4 trying to get into the red zone. You can't afford to come away on this drive without any points. You're already down 2 touchdowns. You've got a great opportunity here starting the 4th to get more points on the board. And a field goal doesn't really help you, as if you kick a field goal, you're still going to be down by 2 possessions. So you're really going to need to get into the end zone on this drive.
Otterbein 22 rushing attempts for 52 rushing yards, passing yards. That has picked up a little bit here in the second half with 102 compared to Ohio Northern's 129. Otterbein starting to move the ball a little bit more smoothly here in the start of the 4th quarter.
Yeah,
and it will begin it 3rd and 5 from the 24.
And Jacob, we haven't seen John Piles or Tyler Hammond at all in this second half. It's all been Drew Irvin, and he's done very well when he's gotten his handoffs.
Davis is going to end up in the same formation as he did last time. Logan Stepp and Ryan Toombs to the near side. Benner, Brett, and Laird to the far side. Empty backfield for Brick Davis. As Davis awaits the count, play clock down to about 18. And trying to bring some pressure into the backfield as Ohio Northern showing blitz. He's going to get this one away to Cole Benner. He makes the catch and into the end zone. Davis to Benner, and Otterbein finally gets their first touchdown of the day. And barring the extra point, this is going to make this a 7-point game.
Yeah, and all the defensive backs of Ohio Northern are pleading their case with the back judge. Is number 1, Melvin Williams, the defense back, ended up on the ground. And I don't know if they said he got shoved to the ground or if he got picked. I'm not sure, but they were definitely trying to get an offensive pass interference call.
Lana Gaither to attempt the extra point. And the hold from Linder. Kick is up, and it's good. Otterbein makes this a 7-point ball game, the first play of the 4th quarter. 20-13 now, and we got a game going.
Yeah, and that is a huge momentum swing for the Cardinals. They needed to get right back in this game with their first touchdown. And whether it was legal or not, it counts. And that's really all that matters, as Otterbein now only trails by 7.
20-13, 14:54 remaining in the 4th quarter. And Gaither closing in on that 100-point mark for her career. And that only took 1 minute 55 seconds off of the clock. Davis to Benner for 24 yards on 3rd down and 5. As Anthony Ween set to kick it off here for Otterbein. Deep to receive our Price. That's Devin Price and Melvin Williams.
And Price always, he seems to linger up around the 15-yard line until he sees that they're going to kick it deep, and then there he goes, he'll trail his way back down near the 5.
Ween set to kick it away for Otterbein, the sophomore, coming in as the replacement kickoff specialist for Nick Gannis. He boots this one away, and this one's going to land right about the 4-yard line. It's going to be Devin Price indeed. Price right up the middle, and he's wrapped up right away by Jake Stewart.
Yeah, and that's a big play there, as it's going to force them, it's going to force the Polar Bears to start from just inside their 20-yard line. That may be their worst starting field position of the day.
Yeah, you're just about right. That's about the deepest they've started. In fact, it's going to be right at about the 20-yard line as Pat Engel's Polar Bears ready to take the field once again and looking to respond. As he's got 2 men in the near side, 2 men to the far side. Magazine in the backfield. Engel in the shotgun. And that's Price in motion. Engel, pocket collapsing on him, but he just barely gets this one away, and it's nearly picked off.
In the pressure,
by Jordan Keaton.
The pressure that time from the offensive line forced Engel to throw that one off his back foot, and he wasn't able to hook up with his receiver.
As he threw that one deep and beyond his receiver, and that was Keaton, as we said on the coverage. Trying to force the issue was the Otterbein defensive line there. Kyle Blust and Dalton Jarvis, or excuse me, that is Dalton Jarvis, Evan Bergenstein, and Tyler Green. Jarvis takes his place on the far side at the defensive end position. Engel in the shotgun, Magazine right next to him. He's going to hand it off to Magazine himself, and he's taken down for about only a gain of 1 yard.
And I'm not sure who made that tackle, but it was definitely a man-sized effort. That was Evan Bergenstein, and he got through his blocker, dragged down Magazine, and lost his helmet all in the process.
Kyle Blues back onto the field for Evan Bergenstein as Bergenstein's helmet came off. Zach Hamilton onto the field as well. Waiting the signal from the officials for the play to begin. 3rd down and 8 for Ohio Northern, and a huge 3rd down play for Otterbein if they can come up big. Engel in the shotgun, 2-man to each side. Magazine in the backfield. Price in motion yet again. Takes a look, takes a snap, pressure coming from Zach Hamilton. He barely gets it, and he gets that one away to one of his receivers on the far side. And it's going to be another Ohio Northern 1st down, and over to Reed Allen. Taken down to the 38-yard line.
Yeah, it was just a really nice route by Reed Allen. He faked the deep ball really well and came back hooked in just enough for the 1st down and was able to pick up a little more at the end.
Another 1st down for Ohio Northern, their 16th of the afternoon. Engel, nobody to the far side. All 3 receivers to the near side. He's going to fake the handoff to Magazine. Pressure coming from Bergenstein. No flags thrown. He's got a man wide open deep, and that's going to be Reed Allen again. And he escapes the tackle from Ryan Moore into the end zone for the touchdown.
Yeah, you know, and it looked like they were going to have him sacked in the backfield, but he was able to escape and find his man, and then Otterbein's defense had a chance. That was number 11, Ryan Moore, who had a chance at him but couldn't bring him down, and he was able to rumble his way into the end zone.
And that drive just going to take 1 minute and 19 seconds off the clock. That quickly for Ohio Northern to respond.
Yeah, and every time here in the second half, Otterbein's been able to creep back. It's been the Polar Bears who inch forward again.
And DeMario is set to kick the extra point. Snaps up, kicks up, and it is good. 27-13, Polar Bears on top. 13:35, 4th quarter.
And it's definitely going to be tough now. This defense, they hadn't played too bad all game, but these last 2 drives, they've given up some real big plays, and it's not been very good. And it looked like just as soon as the Otterbein sideline was getting some momentum, it just gets the wind taken right out of its sails.
As we said earlier, the drive, 1 minute, 19 seconds off of that clock. And it is now a 27-13 Ohio Northern lead. It's taking a look all around the Ohio Athletic Conference. Is now 24-14. Mount Union still on top of John Carroll. So John Carroll closing in, looking to end that 21-year conference championship streak for Mount Union, as they had a share in 2005 with Baldwin Wallace as they were taken down by these very same Ohio Northern Polar Bears. Heidelberg on top of Baldwin Wallace 45-7 at the start of the 4th quarter. As the kick is up, it goes right in the hands of Hammond at about the 15-yard line. Gets right around a couple defenders, and he's down to about the 27. Otterbein looking to respond with a similar drive here to once again cut the lead to 7. As Brick Davis's offense will take the field, and Jeff, I think you just got to be thinking the same thing as the last drive.
Yeah, they're going to need to start moving the ball downfield, and the only way you're going to do that is by throwing it over the middle and out on the sidelines. But the problem is, the last few drives, Otterbein's been doing better moving the ball, but they've been methodical and they haven't been quick moving. And the 2 touchdowns in this half for Ohio Northern have both been really quick. So Otterbein has to answer fairly quickly if they want time to get back in this game.
Empty backfield for Brick Davis. Toombs end step to the near side. 3 to the far side. Christian Brent, one of those as well. Laird and Benner. And Laird takes a screen pass, but he goes right into his hands, and another screen No positive yardage there as we've seen all afternoon.
Yeah, you can't go back to that now. It's not worked. You've got 1 or 2 plays. You've gained 5 or so yards. You can't go back to that now. It's not going to work. You need big plays. You need chunks of yards, and those haven't been getting it done today.
Davis gets the signal from the sideline. Irvin back into the game, and he is in the backfield next to Davis. 2 men in the near side, 2 men in the far side. It's Laird and Bennett in the near side. Step and Toombs to the far side. Takes a snap. Blitz coming, and he gets this one away to Logan Step out near the sideline. He breaks a tackle across the 50-yard line. He keeps going out of bounds just inside the Ohio Northern 40-yard line.
Yeah, and that's a great play right there. It's just unfortunate he was unable to get past that last defender. Otherwise, he's going to go for a touchdown.
Hurry-up offense here for Otterbein as they're right back to the line of scrimmage. Logan Step to the far side, 3 men to the near side. He's going to hand it off to Irvin. Irvin gets right down the middle, carries the load. He's going to get about 5 yards ahead.
Yeah, he was able to break through a tackle near the line of scrimmage and push his way out inside the 35-yard line.
Davis back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 5 for Otterbein from the Ohio Northern 34. Davis takes the snap in the shotgun. He hands it off to Irvin again. Irvin escapes ahead, and he's going to be brought back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, and now you're inside Ohio Northern territory. I think Coach Daup is thinking it's 4-down territory for the rest of the game as long as you're getting inside Ohio Northern territory here.
3rd down and 5. Similar situation as to where Otterbein scored. It was from 3rd down and 5 from the 24. Davis, he's got Irvin in the backfield. Surveys his options. He's going to have Irvin as the blocker. No, he's going to go out for the pass. Davis is wrapped up into the backfield, though, as he was taken down by number 49. That's Mike Cunningham, the sophomore defensive lineman out of North Royalton, Ohio.
Yeah, in that time, that sack's on Davis. He had enough time to survey the field, and he tried to escape the pocket to the side that was collapsing fastest. And he's got to read that. And now you're going to have a 4th and 13, and I guess Coach Daup's going to go for it.
Yeah, I think it's that kind of situation in the game. 11 minutes left and counting. You're down 14. Empty backfield for Davis. 3 man to the far side, 2 to the near side. That's Step and Toombs. He's got Christian Brent, Travis Laird, and Cole Benner to the far side. Davis, he's got time. Looks to get this one away deep. He's got Christian Brent looking to make the catch. And it's incomplete. A turnover on downs and possession to Ohio Northern.
Yeah, he had a man for a second. It was Step, but he had to float that ball up there. And by the time it got to Step, all the defenders were able to collapse on him and force that ball to fall incomplete.
So Otterbein's offense turns it over and turns the pressure back to the Otterbein defense yet again.
There hasn't been a single turnover in this game, and now would definitely be the time for this defense to come up big and force a turnover.
Well, the only turnover coming here was that was the turnover on downs, but no fumbles, no interceptions for either team, as Jeff mentioned. Engel back onto the field. He's got Devin Price and Justin Magazine with him. Price and Bridges to the near side, 1 man to the far side, and Magazine in the backfield. Engel in the shotgun. Hands it right off to Magazine, who's met right in the backfield by Evan Bergenstein. Great read, as he's going to force a loss of about 4 yards on the play. And it's going to be a crucial play for Otterbein, as that's going to force a 2nd down and 14.
Yeah, this defense, they got to make a stand now. And you got them backed up this far, you're definitely going to have to force a 3 and out here. You can't let them pick this up and get more momentum.
Engel gets the play from the Ohio Northern sideline. 3 men to the near side, 1 to the far side. That's Allen. Price on the near side, Engel in the shotgun. Engel takes the snap. He's going to hand it back off to Magazine again, and he's met right away by Kyle Blust and Tyler Green, as well as Austin Jones on the play. Otterbein doing a good job not biting on that one. No gain on the play. Actually, they're going to motion in just a gain of about 1 yard, so 3rd down and 13.
Yeah, and now you've still got a 3rd and long, and it looks like for the rest of this game, if it doesn't stay any closer, the Polar Bears are just content to run the clock and keep the clock moving.
Angle 2-man to the far side, 2-man to the near side in the shotgun with Magazine standing directly behind him. Magazine now motions out to the left and motion coming from Price as well. Takes the snap. He's got Bluss pressuring in the backfield. Pressure coming from Otterbein, and a good job there. That was Dakota Schwann into the lineup, the senior linebacker out of Monroeville, to force the sack and the 3-and-out.
He was sacked all the way back at the 30-yard line, so that was a huge defensive stand by the Otterbein defense.
That's going to be a 9-yard loss. And Ohio Northern will punt it away. Second 3-and-out and 3 offensive possessions for this Polar Bear team. Otterbein trying to make a stand here. That one nearly blocked, as this one's just going to roll away from Cole Benner. It's going to take a lucky Ohio Northern bounce down to the 27, and Brick Davis's offense ready to take the field, looking to respond for that from that disappointing last drive, as they had a chance to take it down the field again, but turned it over on downs.
Yeah, and you've got 8.5 minutes left on the clock, down 2 touchdowns. You got to have points on this drive. You need to put the ball in the end zone. If you're trying to come back in this game, you need to score on this drive, because you don't know how many more times your offense is going to be touching the ball.
Well, Jeff, and going back 3 years ago, as Ohio Northern and Otterbein looked to take the field, Otterbein was down 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, scored both of them consecutively, forcing overtime. Ended up losing that game 35-34 in overtime, but Davis just escapes the pocket. He's got open field ahead of him. He's just going to get out of bounds, and should be enough for the first down.
Yeah, it looks like he got just enough there for the first down.
Davis out of bounds at the 38-yard line.
So a 10-yard run for Brick Davis, getting it done on the ground.
We really haven't seen too much of him running today. Only a few carries.
Signal coming from the Otterbein sideline. Davis in the shotgun again, lining up next to Drew Irvin. Step in twos in the near side, Laird and Benner to the far side. Davis is just going to hand it directly off to Drew Irvin. Irvin trying to escape the pressure from the Ohio Northern defense, just gets ahead to about the 40-yard line for a gain of about 2.
Yeah, he's run fairly well today, but this might be the point where you try and go majority of passing the ball, because you really need to move the ball with some urgency here.
7:30 left and counting from Memorial Stadium here in the fourth quarter. Ohio Northern on top, 27-13 in the season finale. Davis under pressure. He's just going to toss this one over to Irvin. Irvin stays in bounds. They're going to say he stepped out, though, right around the 40.
They're actually going to lose 2 yards on that play.
That's going to force a 3rd down and 9.
Irvin out of bounds at the 39-yard line.
Jeff, you're in a situation here for Otterbein where you have to get it downfield, but at the same time, you have to just be able to get that first down first off.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to go for it on 4th down if they can't get it here. So you need to change your play calling to make sure that you're going to have 4 plays to get 10 yards.
Benner, Laird, and Brett to the far side. Toombs and Step to the near side. Empty backfield for Davis in the shotgun. Davis gets this one away to Laird and unable to get a handle on it. Goes off the ground. Otterbein's going to be forced to go for it yet again as Davis was brought down hard in the backfield.
Yeah, and that wasn't his fault. He had no time. His offensive line gave him no time on that play.
So another 4 down situation for Otterbein. Davis looks like he's going to go with the empty backfield again, awaiting the signal from Thomas Linder.
It's going to be a 4th and about 10, actually.
So it's going to be a 4th and 9. 2-man to the near side, 3-man to the far side. Empty backfield for Davis, 4th and 9. Davis under pressure, gets this one away quickly, and he's got Christian Brett who makes the catch. First down for Otterbein, and they're going to call it an interception.
It was
my.
From up here, it looked like possession. They had possession at the same time, but the defensive player was able to wrestle it out of the hands of Christian Brett.
Yeah, and then Will Bowden. Christian Brett thought he had his hands on it, but Bowden had other ideas and decided just to take that one right away out of his hands, right in midair. And it's going to count as an interception.
And honestly, that's not the worst thing that could have happened there. It's like a short punt, because if that falls incomplete, Otterbein's going to have to turn that over back near the 40-yard line. And so the defense is going to have another opportunity to try and force a turnover here.
Otterbein and their defense back onto the field. Two men in the backfield for Pat Engel. Motion coming from Price. He's going to hand it off to Magazine. Magazine's able to get ahead for about a gain of 2.
Justin Magazine on the carry.
And it's going to be a 2nd down and 8 for Ohio Northern. 6:35 and counting here from Memorial Stadium. 27-13 Polar Bears on top in this season finale here at Memorial Stadium. Otterbein looking to go 6-4, finish with a winning record.
But they're going to have an uphill battle here for the rest of this quarter.
As the clock keeps winding down, is Ohio Northern pretty content with handing that ball off and sticking to their running game. If you're just joining us here on Otterbein TV, Ohio Northern on top 27-13 as Otterbein just went for it on 4th down, turned it over on the interception. That one goes off the hands of Allen. He's going to force a 3rd down and 8.
And that was just a poor throw, as Allen was almost wide open. And if Engel throws that one out in front of him, he's going to catch that and have room to run.
Hamilton comes back onto the field in favor of Tyler Green. Otterbein looking to bring some extra pressure. And with Zach Hamilton on the field, Jeff, he's got 9.5 sacks leading the OAC. It's the kind of pressure that Otterbein needs to bring at this point.
Yeah, now would definitely be the time for his 10th if he can get a strip fumble sack back there. It would certainly help the cause.
Engel in the shotgun, 3 men on the near side, 1 man to the far side. And he just gets this one away to Reed Allen. Allen pressured there by Jordan Keaton. A little too far, incomplete, and it's going to be a 4th down. And waiting the decision here from the Ohio Northern sideline, but they're going to motion 3 and out. And Ohio Northern forced to punt with 5:48 left and counting.
And you can bet that Otterbein's going to come after this one with everything they've got.
4th and 7, Ohio Northern at their
4th and 7, Ohio Northern from their own 38, and they're just going to punt this one away.
Kyle Bergman to punt for the Polar Bears.
Bergman to punt it away. Cole Benner deep to receive. Otterbein possibly attempting a little bit of a lineup to attempt to try and block this kick. No flag thrown. The punter went down to the ground hard. They're going to call a roughing the kicker.
Punt is down around the 30-yard line.
And it looks like Kyle Bergman went down to the ground hard. Not sure if he was trying to sell that one or not.
Well,
but barring the call from the official, that's going to force that's going to give Ohio Northern an automatic 1st down.
Well, the coaches for Otterbein are hot because it certainly looked as though one of the Otterbein defenders got a hand on that punt.
5-yard penalty from previous spot. Repeat 4th down.
And so it's going to be it's a 5-yard penalty.
Just going to call running into the kicker.
Running into the kicker. So that's going to be it's a slightly different call, less of a penalty, less of an infraction there. It's going to move the ball ahead 5 yards, and looks like Ohio Northern's still going to try and punt this one away. I think they're going to redo the kick.
Well, I don't know why they would accept this penalty.
A little bit of a confusion from the officials here.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to decline this penalty. Because honestly, it wouldn't really make any sense for them to kick the ball again.
That running into the kicker penalty has been declined.
Yep, and Ohio Northern's going to decline that and just take the ball wherever Otterbein gets it, and that one's going to be at the 30-yard line, as that was where the ball landed.
Yeah, the Polar Bears wouldn't want to risk kicking it again and having Otterbein block it, because they had 3 guys around that football, and it looked like one of them got a hand on it, and that's why I was surprised about the flag on that play.
Davis in the shotgun. Irvin in the backfield takes a snap. He's gonna throw this one over for Benner, but way out of bounds and out of Benner's range.
Rick Davis' pass intended for Cole Benner, incomplete.
Incomplete, and that's going to be a 2nd down and 10 with 5:34 left and counting.
Well, yeah, I mean, Otterbein's just going to have to go to all passing now, unless they try and sneak in a draw here and there. But other than that, they really need to rush the ball down the field as they're still down 2 touchdowns.
Over in the backfield, same formation as the last play. 2-man in the near side, 2 to the far side. Laird and Benner. And then Toombs and Stepp on the near side, Irvin in the backfield. Davis takes the snap. He's just going to get that one away over to Benner, but out of the hands, in fact, through the hands of Cole Benner. And it's going to be another incomplete pass and a 3rd down and 10.
And for the rest of this game, I assume Otterbein's going to be going for it, so they need to try and find a way to get some of this yardage back so they can make a reasonable 4th down attempt.
So Brick Davis lines up in the same formation. Irvin in the backfield. He'll take the snap. There's a big block coming there, but unable to get much of a handle on it. And incomplete for Logan Stepp.
And part of the problem here is it looks like Otterbein's had some receivers running open downfield, but this pressure has gotten into the head of Brick Davis, and every time it looks like there's going to be guys coming, it looks like he rushes it a little bit, not sets himself enough to give him time to throw the ball. And in that last play, yes, there was pressure coming, but it didn't really look like it was going to get there, and he could have stepped up and thrown that ball a little farther.
Davis in the shotgun. He's got 1 man to the near side, 3 to the far side. 4th down and 10 for Otterbein. He gets this one away deep, and that one incomplete, and it's going to force a turnover on downs. Otterbein will have to try and stop them from deep in their own territory, as Ohio Northern will take over.
And he really rushed that one. I mean, there was pressure coming, but it wasn't close to him, and he just overthrew that pass pretty badly.
Ohio Northern will take over. 2nd turnover on downs for Otterbein today, and 3rd turnover overall. Engel's just going to come back out onto the field.
Now, I expect Magazine to get the ball on just about every play here.
As we got 2 tight ends in the play here. Yep. Only 1 receiver. 2 receivers, one to each side. Price in motion, and Magazine's just going to he's going to take it right up the middle for a gain of about 4 yards on the play. In fact, 5. It's going to force a 2nd down and 5 and keep that clock moving. And with 5 minutes left and counting from Memorial Stadium, Ohio Northern trying to desperately just run out this clock.
Well, if they put any points on the scoreboard now, this game is just about over. And an interesting score update as Alabama's taken the lead early with 7:20 left in the first quarter over Mississippi State, 2-0.
I thought you were going to say 7-0 or something, at least 7-0 there, Jeff. But wow, 2-0 forcing an early safety.
Early safety in that game could be big.
Engel in the shotgun takes the snap. He's going to hand it off to Magazine. Magazine going off tackle a little bit, and he's taken down. Gain of about 1 yard. Timeout called by Otterbein. And, Jeff, if you're Otterbein at this point in the game, you're down by 2 scores, so you don't want to mail in anything just yet whatsoever. Anything can still happen, but you have to be able to slow Ohio Northern down because you know they're either going to kick the field goal or go for it. From this kind of situation, obviously, when you're deep in Otterbein territory, it's going to be one of those 2 options.
Yeah, they might just think about blitzing pretty good here, just to try and force some disruption and try and turn something over.
John Carroll and Mount Union, if you didn't just hear the score, that one tied at 24 apiece now. So John Carroll has come back from 17 points down in Alliance, Ohio.
And it's a similar situation, although not quite as extreme as in last year's semifinal when Mount Union came from about 34 points down on Mary Hardin Baylor to steal that game and go on to the national championship.
So we got a game going now for sure up in Alliance. 3:17 left in the fourth quarter of that one. And all eyes around the country in Division III football are going to have their eyes locked on that one, on that game there. Engel in the shotgun, empty backfield. Now Price motions. He's going to hand it off. In fact, he's going to fake it and take it himself. Going to be good enough for another Ohio Northern first down. With 4:18 left here, as Ohio Northern continuing to drive deep, taking advantage of that turnover on downs from Otterbein.
They're just trying to use up as much of this clock as they can.
As that clock down to about 4 minutes left and counting.
The cheerleaders may have waited a little long to throw out these footballs. I guess they're just trying to get rid of them. It's the last game of the season. So.
Yep. The last game, barring win or lose, it will be the final game at Memorial Stadium here for 19 of these seniors. Aiming to go 6-4. And nothing out of the rule books yet, but Magazine's going to be able to escape ahead for a gain of about 7 yards on the play. And it's going to be a second, and it's going to be a second, about a second down and 4 for Ohio Northern.
Otterbein is going to take their second time out. There is 3:30 remaining in the Otterbein Cardinals season as they trail the Ohio Northern Polar Bears here at home 27-13. And it will be the last 3:30 unless something amazing happens here and they can force overtime. But at this point, it is not looking good for the Cardinals as the Polar Bears have a second down and about 4 yards from the 14-yard line. And if they can put any points on the board at all here, it will just about end this game. So the Otterbein defense is definitely going to have to step up here on these last few plays and try and force something to happen.
2nd and 4, Ohio Northern at the Otterbein 13.
As quarterback Patrick Engel will come out in the gun. He's got his backup running back in there with him. That's Raymond Brown, and they might be looking to just hammer this one into the end zone with Brown, as he's a load in the backfield. There's the snap. They're going to give it to Brown running up the middle. He's through into the secondary, and that's just what they do is Raymond Brown rumbles in from 14 yards out to really put this game away. And that will just about do it here as that makes the score Ohio Northern 33, Otterbein 13. And we will await the extra point, but that's just about going to put the icing on the cake for this game with 3 minutes and 26 seconds remaining. It's DeMario back to kick this extra point. Snap and hold are good, and the kick is up, and it is good, making the score Ohio Northern 34, Otterbein 13. And so we may see some backups here on the offense, as this game is just about out of reach now with 3 minutes and 26 seconds remaining in this 2014 Otterbein Cardinals football season. And hopefully they can make a little noise here before the end of the game, but it's been a fairly disappointing day as Otterbein came in looking to perhaps come in with a winning season at 6-4, but it's not looking like that's going to happen here today, as it's looking like they're going to fall to 5-5 and finish 500 on the year. But still 3:26 to be played, and you never know in this crazy sport. So we will see. As Matt Cheney is back to kick for the Polar Bears. And Tyler Hammond and John Piles look to return this one for quite possibly the last time of this season. It's going to be a squib kick, And it will be fielded at the 25 by Bryson Ray. He's going to try and take it out the far side. He's flipped up there, and he'll be down just short of the 35-yard line. And that is where Brick Davis will start potentially his last drive as a college quarterback. Coach Delp, he huddles up his offense, gives them some words of motivation here to send them out for likely the last time of the season.
Otterbein football, 1st and 10.
And it will be Brick Davis under center with Drew Irvin in the backfield with him. He comes out in the gun, 3 wide receivers near side, 1 to the top of the screen. He'll take the shotgun snap, looks to pass, throws it down the nearest to the far sideline, and it will be intercepted there. And that will end the game. And for all intents and purposes, that was intercepted by William Bodden, who has played a terrific 4th quarter with his 2nd interception of the quarter. And that is certainly not how Brick Davis wanted to go out, but it looks like that might just do it. As Ohio Northern still leads this one 34-13 with 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining here at Memorial Stadium.
Ball marked at the 44-yard line. Ohio Northern football, 1st and 10.
And Engel will still be under center. And just a quick update with 1:21 remaining in the game between Mount Union and John Carroll. It remains tied at 24 as Engel takes the pass, throws a screen out to the near side, and dropped there quickly is number 28, Tyler Habany, the senior wide receiver from Cuyahoga Falls, as Mount Union has the ball.
Tackled by Will Brett.
3rd down and 7 on the John Carroll 26, so they could be in field goal range, and that really could be the dagger in that game.
Yeah, Jeff, and Ohio Northern with that huge interception there. The pass was intended for Thomas Leonard. You know, Otterbein trying to drive down the field as much as they could. You know, obviously Ohio Northern already adding to the score with 34-13 and 2:25 left here from Memorial Stadium. Engel's just going to hand this one off. Penalty flags are thrown. And a good job there by Davis to carry it ahead. It's going to be looks like it should be a hold on one of the offensive linemen as on the far side. Saw one of the Otterbein players get wrapped up a little bit trying to pursue the ball. But with 2:15 left and counting, with 1:21 remaining in the 4th quarter, Mount Union with the first goal.
1st and goal from the 8-yard line.
From the John Carroll 8 with 1:21 left. Mount Union trying to keep that OAC winning streak alive. 2:15 left and counting. That was a holding penalty on the play. That one was a spot foul. And Ohio Northern will have a 2nd down and 11. Engel in the shotgun. He's got Davis next to him. Motion coming. He's just going to hand it right off to Davis. Davis right off tackle. He's going to go ahead for a gain of about 1 yard.
Tony Davis carries.
And we are under 2 minutes left here from Memorial Stadium. The final game of the season for both of these teams. Timeout called by Otterbein. And I think at this point, Jeff, you're just trying to put your younger players in there. Obviously, you want your but at the same time that you want your seniors out there. And, you know, this being their last game of the season.
Yeah, you want them to end on a high note, but this doesn't look like that's going to be the case here today. Unfortunately, as the Cardinals are trailing big late in this game. But just an update, Alabama was able to tack on a field goal following that safety as they are now up 5-0 nearing the end of the 1st quarter against Mississippi State.
Timeout called by Coach Pete Davila, trying to rally his defense together. As we said, this is his senior day, so we're going to see the seniors make their final appearances here on the football field. A reminder, though, that you can catch Tuesday's basketball game on WOBN 97.5 FM, as Elijah Gonzalez and David Kinder will have the call on that one. They will travel up to Hiram for the season opener for the men's basketball team.
And I would like to reiterate, they will need your support this season, as it could be a long one. They're going to give it their all, though.
As that one is handed off right off to Davis on the draw. It's going to be about a loss of about 2 yards with about a minute and 25 left here from Memorial Stadium. Cole Benner's going to come out to retrieve this one. And barring anything else happening, that will be the last time he will receive a punt for Otterbein here. But the Otterbein men's basketball team, lots of promise this season as they've added several key pieces to the team. Lots of size down low, as that was their weakness last season. So Marshall Crum having some extra support. And he will be the lone senior on this team and one of the team captains.
And hopefully they'll be able to turn it around, as they did not do very well last season.
Yep, 4-20, and they're looking to build off it, certainly build off of that and double that this year. Keep themselves within a better spot in the OAC. As Ohio Northern calling a timeout, they were unhappy with all the guys they had out there on the field. In fact, no, actually they were letting the clock run all the way down to 47.8 seconds left.
And it sounds like Mount Union has taken the lead late against John Carroll, 31-24. So Mount Union string may not be up yet.
That one's still with about a minute to go from Alliance, Ohio. As we were getting word prior to today that the game was going to be a packed house.
Now, I can imagine it was, and what a game it turned out to be.
Mark Myers, as we talked about earlier this season, was previously scouted by the NFL.
Yeah, there's a number of possible NFL prospects in that game today.
This one's going to be punted away. Benner back deep to receive for Otterbein. This one's going to roll all the way back to the Otterbein 15. And flag is thrown, though.
I don't know what that could be. It didn't really look like it was in the middle of anything.
Penalty marker on the play.
As we await the call from the official. Officials are huddling together to see what the call is going to be, as yes, Mount Union has taken the lead on John Carroll 31-24 with 1:06 left. John Carroll trying to march down the field and get that elusive OAC championship and try to take it away. And it's going to be a face mask.
And an interesting score from the college football rankings. Number 4 TCU just kicked a field goal to cut their deficit to 3 as they trail Kansas, unranked Kansas, 13-10 late in the second quarter. And that could certainly have a large effect on the playoff standings if the number 4 team were to lose.
38.1 seconds left. Otterbein 1st and 10 from deep in their own territory. One of the senior backups, Jake Stewart, into the game for Otterbein, making his last appearance, the native of Covington, Ohio. We await the play call as the clock under 20. Otterbein just going to try and get one last play off for these seniors. Second down and 13. Clock all the way down. Less than 10 seconds left. And they're just going to let the clock run out. So that will wrap it up. The final game of the season for these Otterbein Cardinals. Final score, Ohio Northern 34, Otterbein 13. And Ohio Northern finishes at 7-3 on the season. Otterbein finishes at 5-5. And Jeff, obviously not the result this Otterbein team wanted. But, you tried to finish on a high note. You tried to finish higher than you expected to be. And just a tough schedule down the stretch really kind of sealed the fate for this Otterbein team.
Yeah, you know, when you got to end the season with Mount Union, John Carroll, and Ohio Northern, it's going to be tough. You're going to get banged up, you're going to get bruised up, and they just looked like they just ran out of steam here in the last game of the year. And it's sad, you know. These seniors go out there and they want to win their last game, and it's a winnable game, but they were just unable to get it done here today.
Well, we'll take a quick break here on OTV. Coming back up, though, we're going to have final stats and score updates from around the OAC, including that all-elusive OAC championship game between John Carroll and Mount Union here on Otterbein TV. Keep it locked. We're going to take a break for about a couple minutes, and then we're going to come back up.
All right.
Hey, Jeff, can you do me a really big favor? And, like, if you could stand up, like, from this angle and take a picture with my phone? This is being my last broadcast.
Oh, boy. Oh, God. These nice clothes.
You can just use my phone.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, no, we're going to come back up in a sec for final stats. There we go. All right. You want to get back up here? We'll come back up here in a sec.
All right, I'm just going to stand because...
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I don't know. Pull up that we won against somebody else.
I'm just gonna leave it at Jacob. Your names.
At Jacob Schnarkers. Did Mount Union win yet?
Still waiting. Hold on here.
At the 45 of Mount Union, they're moving the ball.
No, well, it was 4th and 3 the last time I checked, though. Oh, first and 10 from the Mount Union 30. Oh, my God.
That time isn't right, though.
Yeah, I know.
So I wonder how much time is actually left.
Fetch error. Yeah, right. Alrighty. We're going to come back up here in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back here to Memorial Stadium. Jacob Barker here along with Jeff Murtaugh. Final score here from Otterbein, 34-14, as Ohio Northern emerges victorious. They will make it three wins out of 4 here in the past 4 seasons against Otterbein. Otterbein season ends at 5-5 and 5-4 in the Ohio Athletic Conference overall. Ohio Northern season ending at 7-3. And some final stats here. For passing yardage, leading the way for Otterbein, Brick Davis with 158 passing yards. Jake Stewart came in late into the game, the senior out of Covington, Ohio. He had -3 on the screen pass that he took. Rushing yardage, leading the way for Otterbein was Drew Irvin with 45 yards, John Piles with 14, and then Tyler Hammond with 11, and then Jordan Keaton. He also had 8 rushing yards for Otterbein. Leading the way receiving for the Cardinals was Cole Benner. He had 53 yards on the day, and Logan Stepp had 36, and then Travis Laird topped that with 39. Ryan Toombs only had 9 on the day, but Bryson Ray also had 12. And then meanwhile, over to the Polar Bears, Pat Engel with 192 yards passing today, and with 77 of those coming to Reed Allen. So a guy coming off the bench, and Justin Magazine with 122 yards rushing for this Polar Bear offense. And overall, the total rush yards for Ohio Northern were 177 to 62. Ohio Northern leading that category, and 387 yards overall of offense. So Jeff, Otterbein was able to try and get it going as late as it was, wasn't enough for this Otterbein team to really catch up.
Well, the defense played pretty well in the first half. They only allowed 13 points at halftime. But they really struggled in the second half, and I don't know what it was. They played fairly well all season, but they just gave up a few big plays in the second half, and that really cost them. And then the offense, they started to get it going in the second half, but they were just unable to move the ball consistently enough and get it into their scoring zones. And a lot of that was because the offensive line wasn't giving Brick Davis a great time to throw the ball.
And for Otterbein, obviously not the result they wanted, and they got off to a very slow start as it was 13-3 at the end of the first half. Otterbein closed that to 20-13 early on the first play of the fourth quarter, in fact, but it was all Ohio Northern the rest of the way as they forced 3 turnovers, 2 of them on downs. As we get a last look at these seniors walking across the field in the middle. And it looks like they will take one last team picture here from Memorial Stadium. 19 of them, as you said, Jeff. And they had a terrific career here at Otterbein. Brick Davis, only getting 1 year as the starter, but he made the most of it. You know, a guy that finished fourth and was fourth in the Ohio Athletic Conference in passing, ended up earning OAC Player of the Week after the victory over Baldwin-Wallace. But 3 straight losses to close out the season. If you're Otterbein, you would have wanted at least 2 of those back. And I think you look back to the start where they took on 9th-ranked St. John Fisher. And we could tell from that point that this was not going to be the same team as last year, regardless of what their record was going to be. They came into the half again in that game tied at 7, ended up losing 36-14. But a St. John Fisher team that was just clearly higher skilled. For Otterbein, you're always going to end up matching up against John Carroll and Mount Union. And speaking of that, the score update from Alliance, Ohio. Mount Union sneaks away once again with their 21st consecutive Ohio Athletic Conference title.
And it looks like John Carroll was able to get all the way down to the Mount Union 7, where their drive faltered. And so Mount Union really does escape with that win to go 10-0 on the year.
As John Carroll will fall to 9-1 on the season. Also around the Ohio Athletic Conference, just taking a look at some of the other scores. We told you about the final from Heidelberg today. They are actually still in action, 52-7. They're on top of Baldwin-Wallace, as that one has actually gone final, is what I'm being told has gone final. So for Otterbein, they slipped to 5-5 on the season nonetheless. And, you know, Jeff, just taking a look, overall reflection on the season, you know, for Otterbein wasn't, you know, you came in, you were expected to be number 6 in the OAC. You ended up getting to 5-2 at one point and actually stayed right near the top with John Carroll and Mount Union. But once you ran into those 2 teams, it kind of just seems to suck the wind right out of you. Those are 2 teams that recruit almost on a national level. You know, you're right back in the hotbed of high school football. So obviously they have that to their advantage. For Otterbein, it's not the case. But just taking a look back, on this season, but those games, and as we do have a couple other finals in addition, all the OAC scores have gone final. Ohio Northern, as usual, they take down the Otterbein Cardinals, 34-13. John Carroll falls to Mount Union, 31-24. Capital finishes off Marietta 56-42 to end that high-scoring affair. Muskingum, they defeat the Wilmington Quakers, who end up going winless on the season, 43-14. And Baldwin-Wallace, they fall to Heidelberg 52-20. But Jeff, overall thoughts on the season?
Well, you know, they were picked 6th, and they come in and they get the 5th spot in the conference. They finish in the top 5, which is always good. You want to finish in the top 5 as opposed to the bottom 5. But so they overcame expectations a little bit. And, you know, the hard part is you get to the end of the season and you're looking right in the face of Mount Union and John Carroll. So no matter how good your season's been to that point, you know you're going to have a heck of a time trying to keep it going. And that's kind of a trend every year for every team in the OAC. You get your season and you look at Mount Union and you're thinking, oh my goodness, we got Mount Union. This team hasn't lost a game since 2005. So how are we supposed to beat them? Well, all right, let's just cross them out and go ahead and try and beat everyone else on the schedule. And that's a very difficult thing to do, to say, oh, we're going to have to beat everyone else because Mount Union's so good. It's just tough, you know. You're going to have to overcome that adversity and just go game by game. And I think this team did a real good job of that. They beat everyone they were supposed to beat. They beat some teams that people didn't think they'd beat. And then they lost to the real good team. So, you know, I think it was a fairly good season all in all.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. It's that kind of mentality you have to have, especially in this conference, you know, with Mount Union recruiting like they do and getting the players and skill level that they have and the depth as well. That is something that has defined that team for years and it continues to define them. And for Otterbein, you know, we're gonna see a different look next year. You know, Kevin Green is gonna probably see some playing time at quarterback. You know, looking ahead. But these guys, as he said, you know, they're looking for jobs. You know, they're looking for their degree, their career. And I think that's the great thing you're going to see about so many of these seniors. You know, Lana Gaither is one of the notable PR majors here at Otterbein and is actually a representative of the 2nd and 7 Foundation. You know, Brick Davis and a handful of other guys. You know, Zach Hamilton trying to make himself known around campus. Ryan Moore, the same can be said for him. Chuck Thacker, Tyler Green, Nick Gannis, all guys who have futures in their career. Dakota Schwain, you know, great group of leaders, and I think it's something that, you know, looking at a grand scheme of things, you're not only here to win on the field, but you're here to win off the field.
Yeah, you know, that's definitely true. And some of the positives to look forward to for next year is they get all 3 of these running backs. They get 4 running backs back next year. You're going to have Irvin, you're going to have Hutchison back from injury, you're going to have Hammond, and you're going to have Piles, who've all been very well here at the end of the year.
Tyler Hammond is graduating. He is one of the seniors.
Hammond is graduating, but you're going to get 3. You're going to get 3 of your 4 running backs back next year, and so they're definitely a huge part of the team. And so you've got something to build on going forward.
Yeah, Reed Hutchinson was unable to return after the Muskingum game due to a separated shoulder, but he will be back next season as a junior, leading the way for the Cardinals. Hopefully should be John Vincent as well, and then Dustin Lieber, Grant Knoppenberger, Brian Mickle, Justin Kristoff. So a lot of that offensive line going to still be intact. Jake Schaefer is going to be there as well, the native of Dublin, Ohio, so we'll see him back in the lineup. But for Otterbein, it is going to marks the end of, an interesting season for sure. A lot of ups and downs headed into the season, a lot of ups and downs throughout, and it was a lot of learning experiences for each of these players. Brick Davis being a starting quarterback for the first time in his college career. It was a long, long wait for him. He finally came in this year after injuries derailed him last year. After Ben Sizemore also suffered some injury trouble, but taking a look down at Otterbein's depth chart, you do have Kevin Green and Joey Longino ready for next season, and these are 2 guys that are going to be ready to anchor this team. We did see Kevin Green quite a bit in training camp, so he's going to be one of the guys to watch out for Otterbein. But again, this was kind of recapping the season. Otterbein started off, kind of on a high note. They ended up going 5-2. They ended up taking down Capital. They did fall to Heidelberg early on, and I think looking back at the schedule, Jeff and I, you and I continue to talk and think that's the one you want to have back. That's the one that could have generated more momentum as the season went on. That was a game where Otterbein committed 4 turnovers, 3 of them in the second half, and they lost the game as a direct result of those. So that was kind of the tail there. They went on to defeat Muskingum 32-20 and ended up taking down Baldwin Wallace the following week 20-9. But these next 3, they went on a 3-game losing skid to end the season. Obviously did not end their way today, as that streak was halted at 3 to end the regular season here from Memorial Stadium. And the first ever season on the turf has been complete. So we'll look at it that way. The guys that get another year, the guys coming back get another year on the turf next year. So that will be something to take note of. But that's going to do it here from Memorial Stadium for this season. Make sure you catch us for this upcoming basketball season, as the Otterbein men's basketball team will take the floor Tuesday on WOBN. David Kinder and Elijah Gonzalez will have that call. Well, for the rest of the crew, Jeff Murtaugh and our director of our operations manager, David Kinder, I'm Jacob Barger, saying so long from Memorial Stadium.